Marie Mortera. News 3 Live at 11.
You don't always know you're making history when you're living it. But if you're a business owner, you can help shape Southern Nevada's water future by conserving today. Replacing useless grass with water-smart landscaping and investing in water-saving technology has never been easier. Big rebates are available at snwa.com. Do your part to conserve. Be a founder of our future. SNWA is a not-for-profit water agency.
Hey, Las Vegas, let's face it, banks don't lend money anymore, and payday loan companies charge too much. Nobody has you covered like the DLC with our signature loans up to $5,000 in less than 30 minutes. Really?
Dollar Loan Center. Dollar Loan Center. Dollar Loan Center.
Dollar Loan Center's been in business for more than 20 years and has over 250,000 customers for a reason. We're quick, inexpensive, safe, regulated, friendly, and have a cool jingle. Your loan company charges too much, and we can't wait to show you how easy it is at the DLC and how much you can save. Get up to $5,000 in minutes without a checking account and absolutely no collateral required like at the other companies. It's 100% free to apply, and there's no penalties if you pay off your loan early. We have over 50 locations and give you up to a year to pay back your loan.
Licensed by Nevada Financial Institutions Division. Customer must meet the normal loan qualifications. To review loan qualifications, visit us at don'tbebroke.com. Certain limitations may apply. Loans are subject to approval.
Join Coach Harvey Hyde and Chuck Hayes Saturday evenings from 9 to 10 p.m. for Trojan Football Report, presented by South Point Hotel and Casino, here on 101.5 FM and 720 AM KDWN, where Las Vegas comes to talk.
This station is conducting a weekly test of the Southern Nevada, Inyo County, California Operational Area Emergency Alert System. This is only a test.
101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, the talk of Las Vegas. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
What up? It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro on a Monday. Glad you could join us. Oh, yeah, we're pumped up because we got a lot to get to, baby. We got Chris Wynn joining us in studio today as well to talk a little bit about all the festivities that took place last night. We will get to all that. Nick Bogdanovich from William Hill will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. How did the books make out? I have a feeling they did very well last night. We'll get to that. Are you caucusing in Iowa? Well, we have a preview of it. We'll be talking about that. John Kerry talking about how he might enter the race. Is that true or not? We'll talk about that. And then Trump versus Bloomberg, one of Bloomberg's guys and Donald Trump going after each other. It's pretty funny. We'll get to that audio. Why CPAC is not allowing Mitt Romney to speak. It's ridiculous. And we have some new Michael Avenatti audio in regards to the Nike trial that has not been public until now. It is interesting, to say the least. We will get to that. Also, coming up in hour number 3, the Kobe tributes continue, the LeBron James. We'll get to that. Why I was very disappointed with LeBron James and his remarks at the Lakers game. I'm sorry. I'll give you my reasons why. I don't want to get into it now. Also, Tom Brady and the rumors about Las Vegas continue. We will get to all that. And Gerard Gallant, former Vegas Golden Knights coach, is finally speaking out publicly. We'll get to his remarks. He spoke to Fox 5. We'll get to that. And we have some stuff to give away in hour number 3 as well. So I want to start with yesterday. We'll get to the game and breaking down the game in a little bit. But before we actually break down the game, I do have a little audio I'd like to play for you because, somebody said 2 months ago, gosh, I don't remember who that was. I think somebody said 2.5 months ago that the Chiefs were going to win. I believe somebody said a month ago that the 49ers were going to be playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Oh, wait, that was me. I said that. And then me and JD made our predictions on Friday with the scores. Have a listen to this. This was our predictions on Friday.
I like Chiefs 28-17, something along those lines.
Ooh,
sounds
close,
about right to me.
That's close to my score.
Yeah.
I was going to say 30-20. Wow, I'm sorry. I apologize to the general public because I got the score wrong by 1 point. I'm sorry about that. The final score was 31-20. Don't worry, we'll play that throughout the show because it boosts my ego and JD's ego as well because we were pretty much right on target there, JD, were we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty good. All right, so we'll break down.
As was I, gentlemen, because on Saturday, no, I'm dead serious. As was I. I predicted 31-17. on Saturday night.
that.
Well, you know what? Then all three
and
of us
it
were
is
correct.
documented. It is on the radio airwaves here in Vegas.
Wow,
so
it's documented.
that was
Okay.
actually something that went out.
Documentation.
Don't be so defensive. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not defensive. I'm just
radio
pointing it out.
style.
So let's talk about the party we went to yesterday. You know, we love Ellis Island. The Ellis Island girls, that family,
Great
they,
spot.
They treat us fantastic. They got that new the new place that we
Front
went
yard
to.
out, which is a pretty exquisite out there. Very
So,
nice.
I got to tell you that TV, that 18-foot TV, is
awesome.
is the clearest,
Yeah.
high definition TV of that size I've ever seen.
So it was one of those Super Bowl parties that we all really enjoyed. The food was great. The service was great. We love going to Ellis Island. And in fact, it's turning into one of my favorite local casinos to go to. It's awesome. So we're all hanging out there. Myself, JD, Chris, our producer, Jason Stein, a few others. Excuse me. So we're all hanging out there last night. And it was a great place. Great place to be, right?
Oh, no doubt. It was a situation that where look, we can get into this, I'm sure, if you want, but shouldn't Super Bowl Sunday be a national holiday? In my opinion, I think it should be.
Well, I think it is.
Given how important it is.
Yeah. Well, I think it is. So a lot of
So
things
are you
happen.
saying we should have preempted the show?
No.
Oh.
We didn't do a show on
No,
Sunday. I don't know what you're talking about.
because Super Bowl Sunday was yesterday.
I
It's
don't know
now
what you're
Monday.
talking about.
It's
I'm
the
not doing-
Monday after.
I'm not working on Sunday. I don't know what the hell you're
We got to
talking
play
about.
JD. We got to play Monday morning quarterback
I'll
on
tell
Monday
you. Well,
after the Super Bowl.
listen, we're going to get to the game in a little bit, but I want to talk about everything that took place surrounding the game yesterday. So as I said, we're at this great party at Ellis Island. They treat us great over there. We love it. And so about an hour before the game, we show up to this party. And JD, we noticed that you have a weird look on your face as you're walking in. And your wife looks like she's in a little bit of pain. So I go up to her and I say, "Is everything okay with you? What's going on? Is everything all right?" And then I learned that your wife had something medically that happened to her. Can you explain?
I actually can't.
Your wife gave me permission to talk about this, by the way, yesterday.
But you were mistaken. She didn't have all the details.
Well, what happened then? Tell me.
She didn't have all the details, Brian.
Apparently, JD, Brian doesn't
spec-
read our text threads
Right,
before
clearly.
the show.
Yeah,
because
exactly. I talked
I'm
about
not
it
supposed
2
to-
hours ago.
No, we're not supposed to even talk about it.
But that's fine. She had a specific cosmetic procedure, and something we'll say in August, and usually something can take place every 5 or 10 years, predicated on this procedure.
Can you
but,
be
but
specific?
she had something happen within 4 months, and she actually went to a very, very renowned doctor in the area to get this thing done. And things are not working out the way she expected them
So you're
to.
not allowed to say what it was.
She had a small episode over the weekend involving that specific procedure, and I cannot say what it is.
But Brian, I will say this: like you said, she did have that pain look on her face. She powered through, didn't she, guys? I mean, she was there,
She did.
ready to. She was understanding that this is a big game, and a lot of people are fired up, and she took part and participated in everything we did.
Well,
So I'm not
I
allowed-
think that Adrian Peterson signed picture
memorabilia.
that she
Yes.
won.
All right, we'll
helped
get
her
to
do
that.
That
So-
got her fired
all
up
right,
a
hold
little
on.
bit.
So,
Yeah.
so hold on. So I'm not allowed to say what body part
You are not.
she was having issues
Yes.
with.
No.
Okay,
You
well
are
we'll let our listening audience decide. I did not see that. I thought I had permission to talk about it last night.
The listening audience.
Well, last
can-
night you
can
did. The problem is,
All right,
there was
hold
this
on.
morning.
All right, hold on.
Things changed.
Okay,
in about
let me
12
just say
hours.
this. Let's just say this: the medical episode that she had could not have come at a worse time because it was an hour before the biggest football game of the year. So we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I wish we could talk about it, but we can't. I guess we can't. This is news to me. But here's some other things we could talk about. So JD, you brought in a couple of your friends from California, right?
No, not Council Bluffs.
Okay, wherever they're from. I
I
don't know.
brought I had 3 friends from California, 3
Okay.
friends from my hometown, Council Bluffs, Iowa.
All right, fair enough. I thought they were from San Francisco, but anyway, we'll get to that. So we're hanging out. I haven't met any of your friends before. Okay, so not these friends anyway. So one of your friends, and keep in mind this is in the middle of the game. I had a lot of money on the game. He comes up to me, doesn't shake my hand. He puts me in an arm. What do you call that? A neck arm.
He put you in a
arm
headlock.
bar.
Yeah, he put you in a
he puts
headlock.
me- and it wasn't.
Yes.
By the way, he wasn't gentle. And then he's using his hand.
Yeah, I think it was like a full Nelson.
Yeah, and
JD, he's upset
Yeah.
because it wasn't gentle, because it wasn't soft.
let me
it
finish
wasn't
the story.
caressing. It wasn't caressing.
He preferred to be caressed.
Let me finish the story. So
and I can appreciate that.
he takes his hand. He's grabbing my chest, my nipples, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say that on the air? I don't know. And then he's grabbing my genitalia. And I've never had a man grab my genitalia before. It's not an experience I ever want to happen again, by the way. And and he's a big guy. He's stronger than I am, so I couldn't get out of the headlock. Meanwhile, everybody's watching and nobody's telling him to stop. And this happened like throughout the game. I'm trying to run away from this guy. I was sexually assaulted by one of your friends.
The reason, Brian, we didn't stop, though, is because we weren't aware that he was actually going down for the reach around or any type of cupping action. We didn't know that.
I just thought he was putting
That's
you
why
in
we didn't
some
stop.
type
There's
of
a
headlock
video.
type situation.
We just thought he was an overzealous fan because you have so many overzealous fans.
And he is
particularly here in
video.
Las Vegas.
He is a big fan of the show. He listens every single day to the show.
I don't care about that. He can be a fan of the show or not. He sexually assaulted me. I feel like I need to call an attorney.
Well,
but
you just
anyway.
laid it out there. We had to give you the reasoning
hold
why
on.
the fan
Hold
was
on, I'm
that
not done
way.
yet. It didn't end there. Throughout the game, he's going after me, waving me over to him. And your wife actually took a video of me, and you could see me swearing at him. And I'm saying, "Get the F off of me! Don't touch me again, bro, or I'm going to knock you out." I said that to him. Your friend is just out of control. And by the way, it's not the only person he was doing this to. By the way, first of all, have you ever met somebody for the first time? Like, if I did that to somebody, I would go to jail. You shake their hand. Hey, I appreciate your show. I like your show. He grabs my junk. What straight man? Or I don't even care.
Brian, you are from Connecticut. There are people like me and JD. We're from the Midwest. People from the Midwest
That's
are very
not an
friendly.
excuse.
Okay,
Extremely friendly.
Sexually,
and Matt. I think we can say his name. Matt can be extremely friendly. Yes, he can be extremely friendly on Super Bowl Sunday. So that's how it went down.
I don't see friendly being sexually assaulting someone. Even if I did like men and I was attracted to men, which I'm not, I still wouldn't enjoy it. That was sexual assault. So please thank your friend who's listening to doing that for me, because he was sexually assaulting me throughout the whole game and ruining the experience for me. That's my luck, too. It wouldn't be an attractive woman that was doing that to me. It would be some disgusting guy from Bluffs or whatever the hell his name is that's doing it to me. So anyway, your friends are very cool. Thank you for inviting them. They certainly didn't ruin it for everybody. That was great.
He's a big fan of the show. He asked me back in June.
Guess he's a fan of my nuts too.
Clearly, he said, "Hey, I'm coming out to Vegas to watch the Super Bowl. Can you help me? Figure out where to go? I want a party of some sort." I said, "Okay, fine, I'll help you." And he's more of an acquaintance. I haven't seen him in a long time. I used to play youth sports with this guy. I'm talking like fourth and fifth grade.
Your excuses. That's a touching story.
We were rivals in fourth or fifth grade, and he actually told that story to my wife, which is insane. But yeah, so. Obviously, I learned my lesson. I will not be inviting anyone from Council Bluffs, Iowa, out to Vegas to watch the Super Bowl or any type of event with us.
Your friends acted like 12-year-old girls.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
Yeah, 12-year-old girls that are obsessed with bald, white, 39-year-old radio talk show hosts. It was weird. All right, well, anyway, that's not where the festivities ended, by the way. They were giving out raffles. I won a Pat Mahomes autographed helmet. I also won an Aaron Rodgers autographed football. So that's kind of cool. And your wife won a Patterson
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson photo.
Cordero Patterson.
Yeah. Oh.
Chicago Bears.
Okay.
Kickoff return. No,
JD's messing with you. It was Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Do you think that they're real?
I'm not going to comment on
They have certificates of authentication, guys. Come on. They have to be real.
I have a certificate of authenticity that says your friends act like morons. That's my certificate of authenticity. Anyway, so this is funny. This is kind of a funny moment. I remember it was when the Chiefs were down by 10. And they score a touchdown. We're going to get into the specifics of the game later. And, Chris Wynn been doing a little bit of drinking. I had one drink. I was not drunk by any means. But I'm really excited, and we're really into the game because I had a lot of money on the Chiefs, and Chris had a parlay going. So I give Chris a push, and he literally falls into another guy on the table in front of us and literally almost breaks his leg. I almost caused a severe
All right, so we just talked about assault, right, with our friend from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Well, the type of assault that it wasn't necessarily a push. It was Brian. Look, a lot of times when people celebrate when things are going well, right? You'll get the high five occasionally, right? Maybe even like a bear hug or something. Nah, Brian Shapiro decided to do like a power chest bump on me when I wasn't even, wasn't ready for it, okay? And so I end up falling back into a chair that's behind me, and, the chair goes flying into the booth next to us, and they're looking at me like, what is going on with these guys?
By the way, can I ask you a question? Are you still drunk? Be honest.
100% not. No. Absolutely not.
Are you sure about that?
No, I'm 100% positive that I'm not.
You don't have a little buzz going right now? Are you sure?
Absolutely
you got messed up. You got messed up last night.
I have what's you see what was the movie?
I don't think he was that
what's the movie where Jack Black has the kids and they have a band and it's
School of Rock.
School of Rock, right? It's
good movie.
I'll do the definition, Brian and JD, for you guys. It's called Hangover Time. That's what it is. And there's a lot of people around America that have the same thing I have right now.
What's the movie where the guy gets off of work and he sits in front of a caveman Keno machine till 8 a.m. and drinks and gets drunk?
That's going to be a classic. There should be Oscars for that type of movie.
Wait, that's you.
And that was me last night, JD. After you got bounced out quick. and for obvious reasons.
It's called the winning ways. Winning ways.
So myself, Brian, and Jason Stein decide to partake in a little of the festivities
Directed
outside
and
the
produced
casino.
by Mr. X.
Yes.
It'll do really well.
Mr. X.
By the way, Mr. X, I was just told he is flying to Toronto.
Really?
For 2 months to shoot his next movie. Congrats to Mr. X.
If you don't know what the hell JD is talking about, Mr. X is known as the Hollywood conservative. He comes on our show every week. He's a producer out there in LA who happens to be a Trump supporter. I'm glad you brought that up. Speaking of Donald Trump, I want to read you Donald Trump's
Congratulations.
tweet. Yeah, I want to read you Donald Trump's, maybe he was drunk last night, tweet about the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's Donald Trump's tweet. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs on a great game and a fantastic comeback under immense pressure. You represented the great state of Kansas, and in fact, the entire USA so very well. Our country's proud of you. Here's a tip for you, Mr. President. If you don't know or are not sure where the Kansas City Chiefs play, you probably shouldn't tweet that. You should probably know where they play and what state they play in before you tweet something like that. It is absolute buffoonery. That you think Obama would make a mistake like that? And by the way, people are defending him. He doesn't even know the team that won the Super Bowl. He doesn't even know where they play. Okay, Matt Schlapp. Have you head of this idiot?
Well, he's the head of CPAC, right? He's basically he's a very high profile conservative.
Yeah. This conservative, Matt Schlapp, is defending it. He's a pro-Trump lobbyist, as he said, who heads the Conservative Union and the annual Conservative Political Action Conference. He took to Twitter to point out that, quote, East Coast establishment folks are wrong. How do you defend it? He said, "Dear East Coast establishment, Kansas City, Kansas is in Kansas."
No, you see, look, here's the deal, okay? That's not what we talk about when we talk about Kansas City, all right? Yes, there is a city in Kansas, in Kansas, that's Kansas City, Kansas, that happens to be a off the beat suburb, basically a lower. I think it's a southwest
smaller,
suburb.
Much smaller.
Yeah, and when we talk about Kansas City, we talk about the Royals and we talk about the Chiefs. We don't talk about them being part of Kansas City, Kansas. It's a different city. Okay, so I don't want to hear that excuse. That's ridiculous. If you're the president of the United States, you should know. Look, Brian, you pointed out that if you don't know, you shouldn't say anything. Now, you're the president of the United States and you're Donald Trump. You should know that Kansas City is in Missouri and it's not Kansas City, Kansas.
And also, if you don't know, now you know.
But guys, gentlemen.
Little Biggie pop right there.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Gentlemen, okay, let's just rewind here for a second. Okay? Let's go back to the Obama years. What if Obama did something like this? And some people might not think this is a big deal, but I think it shows the ignorance, which is Donald Trump. You're the president of the United States. This isn't you or me. That'd be bad enough if we tweeted out something like this and we'd take a lot of flack for it. This is the president of the United States who does not know where the Kansas City Chiefs play and makes an assumption. Yeah. And then you have the idiots underneath him that are in the White House that are defending it. It's just ridiculous to me, and it's embarrassing.
Well, it's funny.
I'm embarrassed for the president.
Brian, it was funny that Claire McCaskill, the former lawmaker, of course, from the great state of Missouri, had to chime in and point it out and just flat out call the president an idiot on Twitter. And it's tough to say that we're at this point right now in America as far as our discourse where we're having to call out the president for making a moronic tweet or doing something that is just not very bright. But at the same time, this can't happen if you're Donald Trump.
He's a moron.
If you're the president of the United States, you can't say the wrong state of a major U.S. metropolitan city.
Here's what's funny, though.
You just can't do that.
So here's what's funny. Some of the right-wing idiots that are
trying to defend it, right?
Here's the funny thing. Yeah. The tweet was quickly deleted and later replaced.
Absolutely it was. Why wouldn't it have been?
It was replaced with a new message that says, "We are proud of you in the great state of Missouri. You are true champions." See, this is my problem with many politicians, but especially the president of the United States. If you make a mistake, show a little levity and be funny about it. Like, for example, if the president then tweeted after that, "I apologize to everyone in Missouri. Obviously, I made a stupid mistake. My bad. I'm sorry."
You're talking about an apology, Brian.
Yeah,
that's never going to happen.
He'll never
Donald Trump.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
He'll never do that.
Did you see the social media? A lot of the social media stuff going out where there was the Sharpies out in force and people were making circles around Kansas City and saying, "Oh yeah, Mr. President, this is not in Kansas."
Yeah, I wonder if Mike Pompeo,
alluding obviously to the Alabama comments as far as the hurricanes and the hurricane affecting the state of Alabama. That was rather funny, actually, that I caught on social media.
I wonder if Mike Pompeo will come out with an NFL map and will say, "Mr. President, can you tell us where the Chiefs play?" I wonder.
Exactly.
I wonder if Pompeo will do that. It's just stupid, man. He's just a moron. Let's just call it for what it is. Well, the economy is great. The unemployment numbers are down. Blah 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 blah. Your president is a moron. He's an idiot. Only an idiot would do something like that. JD, I know you're a Trump supporter. Am I wrong on this one? Only an idiot would think that the Kansas City Chiefs play in Kansas. And only an idiot would tweet that out. If you're the president of the United States, don't you have just a little bit of a responsibility to get something like that right? Or do you think I'm making too big of a deal of it?
I think you're making a pretty big deal of it, Brian. I really do.
But the problem is this. It wasn't some obscure city in some obscure state.
I get it, but Donald Trump,
Canada.
he's from New York. He's an East Coast guy. He probably hasn't spent that much time in the Midwest.
Well, obviously, right? Because he doesn't know that Kansas City's not in Kansas
So,
initially.
I don't have a huge issue with
this.
this.
He does know now.
Obviously, it's a gaffe of some sort, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it.
It is sort of
it was definitely a gaffe.
It's definitely
I would say that.
It's definitely a gaffe of some sort. But, those are the people that are complaining about Joe Biden's gaffes. The same type of people will keep their mouth shut.
Well,
like
this
the
is
schlaps of the world.
This is different than putting together 3 different war stories that may or may not be true and turning them into one.
Oh, you mean like the fact that they're over...
Like what Joe Biden did.
You mean like the fact that there are over 60...
To try to appease and pander to his crowd, like Joe Biden.
Okay.
Donald Trump made an honest mistake.
Okay.
Fine.
So let me ask you a question.
If he was from Chicago or if he was from Kansas City, that would be crazy.
Okay, so...
But, he's from New York,
so let me ask you a question
make a big deal out of it. And I don't... Am I really happy that he mixed up Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas? Not particularly, but I'm not really mad about it. I'm more mad at Joe Biden for mixing up 3 war stories, trying to pander to his crowd.
Right. Well, let's try to focus on Trump here for a second. What do you make of the head of CPAC?
You mentioned Joe Biden's gaffe, so I just followed through with it.
Okay, so what would you say about the head of CPAC and a guy that works in the White House in the administration that is defending Donald Trump and doubling down? What would you say about a guy like that?
Well, I don't know why you would even defend this.
Well, because he's an idiot.
What are you trying to defend?
Because he's
I get it, but like what's the upside here? Okay, so he mixed up Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. What are you defending?
Listen, it's the same type.
Obviously, the guy was mistaken. He made a mistake. Just say he made a mistake.
Well, I'll answer your question.
Yeah.
It's the same type of person that defends Trump when he went after John McCain in his war service. It's the same type of person that defended Donald Trump going after Nancy Pelosi's teeth. It's the same type of person that defends Donald Trump on a daily basis, and just all they do, they're enablers. The Kellyanne Conways of the world, the Nunez's of the world, the Brown Nosers, all these people that defend Trump and he can do no wrong. This is just another thing. Now, this might not be an extremely serious issue, but it's a pattern. Whenever the president does something stupid, some are more serious than others. I would say this isn't on the tops of the list, but it's a perfect.
Come on,
but
Brian.
it's a perfect.
This is the very
hold
bottom
on,
of the list.
but it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, though. The president says something stupid and embarrassing. The White House covers it up. They delete the tweet, and then they put up something else. And then you have a bunch of the right-wing crazies that are defending it. Don't defend it. Just say the president made a mistake. He said something dumb, and let's move on. Then we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. If President Trump tweeted out, "I'm sorry I didn't know where the Chiefs played. That was completely my fault. I apologize," then I would actually be giving him credit this morning and say, hey, you finally admitted to making a mistake. He's not capable of doing that. He's not capable of apologizing, and it goes all the way back to several years ago. The man never apologizes for anything.
You're definitely making a mountain out of a molehill here. He's not the one. Yeah, he made a mistake. CPAC, Schlapp is the guy who didn't say that.
I want to schlap him in the face. That's what I want to do.
I understand you want to schlap him with the face with your whatever. I'm sure with your schwa.
I want to have your friend sexually assault him.
It doesn't make any sense to me why you would defend Donald Trump in this situation, because clearly he made a mistake.
No, it makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
But there is no defense.
Right.
It's a very minor mistake. In the grand scheme of things, it amounts to about nothing. But what are you defending?
Well, a lot of Republicans are defending not calling up witnesses, which we'll talk about in hour number 2. It's the same thing.
No, it's not even close.
It exactly is.
The impeachment trial.
Not doing the right thing.
And mixing up the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, from a level of importance, obviously, when you're talking about this, it's not a
universe.
But JD and Brian, right? From a level of importance, obviously, this is not something that is absolutely crucial. Okay, yeah. But it's just the fact of the matter of just the nature of the gaffe. It's as if, right? And stay with me, guys. It's as if the Seattle Seahawks had won the Super Bowl, and Donald Trump went on Twitter and said, "You know what? Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. All those great people in the state of Oregon, you have to be fired up. That's exactly what this is. Okay, so it's not as to JD's point. I think you're right, JD, as far as like the importance. It's not something that is going to be encapsulate the country for the next 3 days.
No, if it was,
but it's just the nature of it. It's just and a fact that the president will never apologize for anything.
If the Seattle Seahawks were called the Portland City Seahawks, and Portland City was actually in Washington instead of Oregon, which is what this. Because again, you keep in mind this Kansas City. The name Kansas is in that team name. So, I mean, it's a little different than what you're saying, Chris.
All right, so in closing, though, we'll leave that one alone. We are going to break down the football game coming up next. I also want to once again thank everybody at Ellis Island. They were fantastic yesterday.
Yeah,
that is an awesome place to see a party. If you haven't checked out the new Ellis Island, and I'm going to call it the new because they've had some really great improvements there. And like I said, it's turning into one of my favorite local casinos. People there are very friendly. The food there has always been fantastic, by the way, quite frankly.
And it's cheap.
Yeah, and I know they're doing some March Madness parties there for the NCAA tournament. It's great. So
some people were absolutely floored by the experience at Ellis Island yesterday.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
I took a picture of a guy that fell down. I think he was drunk. I took a picture of it. It's on my Facebook page, and in the caption, it does say people were absolutely floored at Ellis Island by the comeback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, guess what? We're going to talk about that comeback coming up next. Everything I said a week ago came to fruition. I'll explain exactly what that means coming up next. He's JD Sharp. I'm Brian Shapiro. We got C-Win in studio. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take.
Here is some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if you sign up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. It's the affordable alternative to health insurance, and it's worked beautifully for 25 years. They have more than 400,000 members now around the country. MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry, and over the years, members have shared over $3 billion of each other's medical bills, so they could help share your needs too. And best of all, you could save a lot of money with MediShare. The typical savings for a family is about $500 a month. Your savings could be more or less, but think about what you could do with that extra money every month. You're not stuck with a high-cost health plan. You can join MediShare anytime, so call them today and check it out. Here's the number to find out more, and there's no pressure. They are super easy to talk to. Call 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE. 844-91-BIBLE.
Moving and eating better every day can help make you and your kids healthier. Search We Can online to find out more. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
Final arguments are underway in the impeachment trial. House Trial Manager Jason Crow.
You must come to no other conclusion that the president threatens the fairness of the next election and risk putting foreign interference between the voters and their ballots.
The defense will present shortly. Then this afternoon, senators will begin to speak on the floor to present their reasoning for the vote they will cast Wednesday to either acquit or convict the president. A woman from Colombia is dead after a shooting on a bus in Southern California earlier this morning. 5 others have been wounded. Police do have a suspect and a weapon, but no indication of the motive. The Iowa caucuses today mark the first test among the Democratic field running for the party's presidential nomination. The death toll has now hit 360 from that Chinese coronavirus. More than 17,000 people are diagnosed with the virus in China alone. The Dow is up about 210 points. I'm Mike Morse.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Lowe's. Desert Inn Road still closed east and westbound at Jones Boulevard for an ongoing accident investigation. Use an alternate to get around like Spring Mountain or Sahara. Also a crash reported on the 215 Beltway eastbound at Rainbow and an accident on I-15 southbound at Flamingo. On the surface streets, watch for slowing for the crash at Jones, southbound near the 215 in northwest Las Vegas. Do your next home improvement project right by shopping Lowe's for deals throughout the store. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Fox tonight. Over 24 million viewers have made 911 Lone Star TV's #1 news show.
911, what's your emergency?
And this week, it's gonna blow
Tornado Teddy, I'm scared.
you
What is happening?
away.
Good God. Get out of there now!
Then, if you haven't seen the fall's biggest show, Prodigal Son, this one will get you hooked.
We got a bomb. If we trip any of these wires, he dies.
New 911 Lone Star and Prodigal Son. Fox tonight.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. Also, Chris Wynn joining us as well today. I want to play this audio for you again real quick so none of you think that we're liars here on the show. These were our predictions on Friday. Here's what JD and I had to say about prediction of the final score. Here it goes.
I like Chiefs 28-17, something along those lines.
Ooh,
sounds
close.
about right to me.
That's close to my score.
Yeah.
I was going to say 30-20. I was off by 1 point, folks. The final score was 31-20, so I apologize for that. Briefly, let me just talk about, first of all, I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl 2 months ago. I also said a month ago that I believe it would be the 49ers and Chiefs. Why? Because the 49ers had the best defense in the league, and in my personal opinion, the Chiefs the best offense in the league. Here's why I like the Chiefs, and here's why I bet on the Chiefs yesterday. I said if you get Garoppolo in a situation where he has to throw the ball in a really pressure situation, I don't have a lot of confidence in him doing that. And if you look at what he did 2 weeks ago, he didn't have to throw the ball, so he wasn't tested. Mahomes was not only tested in throwing the ball 2 weeks ago, but he tested last year when he lost to the Patriots. He's been there before. So I thought that Mahomes and his offense would be better in clutch situations than the San Francisco defense. I don't blame the San Francisco defense per se, but Garoppolo overthrew the ball 4 times in the fourth quarter. And when you look at Mahomes, he was 100% in the fourth quarter. He made the big plays when they needed to be made. And the bottom line is Garoppolo didn't in the fourth quarter. Garoppolo played a pretty good game. But when it came to clutch, when it came to a situation where Garoppolo had to make plays in the fourth quarter, when they were up 10, when they were up 3, he didn't get the first downs needed. He wasn't able to get that drive. He overthrew the ball when, listen, Mahomes made the plays when he needed to make the plays. To me, that was the difference maker in the game. We could overanalyze everything. You could break down every play. The bottom line is I'm happy for the Chiefs coach, because he's been doing it for so long, probably longer than I've been alive. It was nice to see him finally get over the hump. Shanahan's going to be there again, but I also thought Shanahan made some mistakes. Do I blame this game on Shanahan? Absolutely not. But a couple examples I'll bring up is you have to call a timeout in the first half and give your team a little bit more time to score. He didn't do that. He's not a very good game manager. I think he's a good coach. I think he's going to win championships. But in my personal opinion, the reason why the San Francisco 49ers got to the Super Bowl is not because of Garoppolo. I mean, Garoppolo's a very good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's very good. But the main reason why they got there was because of their defense. And, when you allow, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they score 21 points in the final 8 minutes of the game yesterday? I mean, that just can't happen. That can't happen. And find me a Super Bowl winner and find me a Super Bowl quarterback that doesn't make plays in the fourth quarter. It'd be really tough to do that. Garoppolo just didn't do it. Great quarterback, had a great year. Garoppolo didn't do it. The bottom line is when push came to shove, Mahomes made absolutely monstrous plays when they were down 10, and then he made more monstrous plays when they were down 3. He marched the team down the field twice. Pat Mahomes is the face of the league right now. I don't care what anybody says. You could talk about Jackson and all these other guys. Mahomes is the superstar. He is the guy. So the reason why I picked the Chiefs, number one, was because of that reason, because of Mahomes. And I also got the sense that it was just their time. Their coach, he was ready. It was their time. Shanahan's going to have more opportunities. So, we can overanalyze it all we want to, but the bottom line is Mahomes was the factor, and it was just their time. I felt it was their time. San Francisco's got a great team. They'll be back there. They'll be back there. They'll be back there.
See, I don't do stuff based on feel.
Well, it wasn't just that.
I know. And I agree that Mahomes is obviously an outstanding quarterback. I think he's getting a little more hype than he deserves, but he did make plays in the fourth quarter. I didn't think that Garoppolo, kind of like you said, that he has been on that stage before. But also, they don't have the weapons. You have to consider the personnel. Kansas City Chiefs, they have this very, very explosive offense. I think that the matchup of Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, DeMarcus Robertson, even Damian Williams, who I think should have been the MVP of that game, by the way, not Pat Mahomes. Williams had 17 carries for 104 yards. He had 2 catches for 29 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he should have been MVP of that game. But I just think that the Chiefs had a very underrated defense. It was a better matchup for them than opposed to the Packers. And I stated on air, I said the Chiefs' corners in their secondary will be the difference in this game. And they held Mostert to 58 yards. The Niners didn't have an explosive game on the ground. And in the end, though, Richard Sherman, he got burnt by Tyreek Hill on that big 3rd and 15 play.
And you saw him after that play. He looked, but you don't disagree with what I said. I know maybe I'm oversimplifying some things, but I think it came down to Garoppolo did not make plays down the stretch, and Mahomes did.
It came down to Garoppolo, Mahomes, and also Shanahan and Reed. I mean, Kyle Shanahan now, he's the only coach in NFL history to lose 2 games.
He blew it again. But I don't blame him
in the fourth quarter because he was the Patriots' offensive coordinator.
Let me ask you a question.
So he was the Falcons' offensive coordinator when they lost that game when they were up 28-3 against the Patriots 3 years ago.
Let's flip-flop here. Okay, Mahomes is in Garoppolo's shoes. There is no way Mahomes allows that team to lose that football game. I think his experience in the playoffs, the fact that 2 weeks ago he was tested and Garoppolo just handed the ball off, I think that was a factor with 8 minutes to go. The bottom line is Garoppolo did not throw the ball where he needed to throw it on 4 occasions in the fourth quarter. That's huge.
And I think that he doesn't really have the weapons. Deebo Samuel's a second-round pick. He's a rookie.
Well, Mahomes is a much better quarterback.
He's definitely – Mahomes is a better quarterback, but he has – Tyreek Hill is the fastest player in the NFL. Sammy Watkins was a first-round pick.
But you still have to put the ball where it needs to be put, and Garoppolo didn't do that.
And Travis Kelce. I mean, Garoppolo has a killer, but he doesn't have a Travis Kelce. So I think that the Chiefs just had the better personnel when it came down to it. And the defense – which, the Niners have this vaunted defense. And Nick Bosa was actually held on the 3rd and 15, and that's pretty clear if you look on Twitter. But the Chiefs' defense is actually very underrated in the grand scheme of things. And I think people didn't factor that in when they looked at the line being 54, 53.5. And the Niners had all this press and all this recognition for having this beautiful defense, this amazing vaunted defense, and the Chiefs' defense was not much worse than the Niners.
And guys, let me expand on that coaching dynamic because I want to get your takes on. Obviously, we just talked about Kyle Shanahan, and to both JD and Brian's point, all throughout news to talk radio today as well as sports radio, Kyle Shanahan is getting absolutely crushed, okay, because of what went down in the final 7 minutes of that football game.
9 minutes.
The last 9 minutes of that football game. But the point being is that, you have a 10-point lead. You absolutely should be able to hold on to that, given the nature of this San Francisco 49er team as far as being able to ground and pound the football and basically just take the clock out of commission. But also Andy Reid, guys, your thoughts on that? Andy Reid, a guy who the description has been, he's always been a bridesmaid, never been a bride, right? And he was able to finally get it done. He's been an assistant coach. He was a tight ends coach with the Green Bay Packers back in the 90s when he won his Super Bowl. But, of course, we all know about the loss to the Patriots when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he never got a chance to get that Philadelphia franchise over the hump and a Super Bowl win. He finally gets that Super Bowl victory.
It's a good story.
So where does this put him in the echelon of head coaches?
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer.
There's no question about that. In fact, you could have made the argument even without the Super Bowl win, he was a Hall of Famer. But the fact that he's now won a Super Bowl, and by the way, I don't think he's done. This is a really good football team. Yeah. And when you got Pat Mahomes at the helms, let me put it to you guys this way, guys. I would not be surprised if it was the 49ers and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again next year. I wouldn't be surprised because, listen, maybe Baltimore has something to prove. Their quarterback has something to prove. I understand that. But I think these two teams are going to be the best 2 teams in football again next year. Listen, a lot can happen in the offseason, but I truly believe that these 2 teams are the elite teams in the NFL, and they have set the standard. I think Pat Mahomes has set the standard as what this era of quarterback should look like. And, there's some good quarterbacks in the league right now, but Mahomes right now is the elite quarterback in the league, period. Aaron Rodgers is not getting any younger. Tom Brady is not getting any younger. Baltimore's got a pretty good quarterback. I understand that. Houston's got a pretty good quarterback. I understand that. He's proven not only is he clutch. And let me just ask you guys this question because it proves my point. 2 minutes left to go in a game. You're down by 3. Who would you rather have, Mahomes or Garoppolo? It's not even a conversation, right? I mean, that was the factor in this game.
And one of the reasons is because Mahomes, he's able to run. Garoppolo is not. He has no athleticism. He has athleticism, but he just refuses to run. Mahomes,
he's not afraid to get hit either.
He can take. Yeah. Actually, when he gets hit, like when he got hit on that run on the sideline, and the
that
ball
could have been bad,
and the ball fumbled back to make it 4th down.
He got right back up.
He actually got better.
Yeah,
a lot of Joe Burrow did the exact same thing in the LSU Clemson game. The really good quarterbacks, when they take that first hit, it gets them pumped up.
Listen, he's tough. He's clutch. He's got a great arm. He's accurate. He's smart. He sets a great example. He's a great leader. He's got every quality you want for a championship quarterback, and I think he's going to win a lot more championships in his career. He is the best quarterback in football right now.
But guys, and JD pointed it out, Williams should have been the MVP of this game. It wasn't the quarterback play that made the difference, okay? Yes, there was that huge play in the fourth quarter, Brian, where we went nuts.
Yeah, the
where he airs it out.
bomb.
Yeah, 56-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill.
Perfect
But
pass.
both these quarterbacks, Pat Mahomes had a 60.
Short.
Pat Mahomes had a 60 QBR, and obviously Garoppolo was, I think he was around 40 QBR. A lot of picks and a couple of touchdown passes for both guys, but nothing spectacular.
And before the fourth quarter, before that 9-minute mark, Garoppolo had only 4 incomplete passes.
Listen, let me just say this
he was
before
actually
we go to
playing
break.
a better game because Mahomes had 2 interceptions and a fumble.
Let me just say this before we go to break. The bottom line is if you erase the last 8 minutes of that football game, we're sitting here with a different tune saying that Pat Mahomes did not have a great game. But the bottom line is great players, special players, come up big in the biggest situations.
We're saying that he choked.
Yeah.
If that 9 minutes does that, because again, he had 2 turnovers at that point. He had taken 4 sacks, and he had fumbled once.
He did everything right the final 8 minutes of that football game, and also give some credit where credit is due to the Chiefs' defense. They made stops, and they needed to make stops.
So underrated.
But I also thought that Garoppolo certainly choked a little bit in that final 8 minutes. All right, here's what we're going to do, gentlemen. I don't know if you heard about this, but there are some people that actually bet on the game yesterday.
No.
Yeah, I know it's a shocker, right? But Nick Bogdanovich with William Hill is going to be joining us next. How did the books fare yesterday? How much action did they take? Oh, and by the way, our friend Mattress Mac, I shouldn't laugh about this, but Mattress Mac lost $1 million yesterday. He bet on the 49ers, so he is the new mush. Whatever Mattress Mac bets on, bet the opposite. Chris Wynn is no longer the mush because he won a 2-team parlay, and I want to.
Big hits.
We all won.
And by the way, no, I didn't just win a 2-team parlay. I won a 2-teamer when I had Shapiro on the same side. That's why he's
so I'll tell you what, I had the first half under 26, which hit easily, but I took an alternate bet on under 49.5, and that Damian Williams touchdown screwed that up. That was plus 180, but I was about 3-1. I lost a couple of prop bets. I made some good money yesterday.
I only made one huge bet, and that was Chiefs money line, baby. So I cashed my ticket. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk a little bit about the gambling aspect. Nick Bogdanovich from William Hill will be joining us next. How did the books fare? We'll find out coming up next. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/joy. That's right, free. Zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy.
When a counselor asked how much my husband drinks, I said, not that much. I don't know why I said that. He always drank too much. But I guess I'm so used to keeping it a secret that I didn't tell the truth to myself or anyone else. My husband has drinks with friends after work. He has a couple of drinks at home with dinner and a few more while we watch TV. Pretty soon he's shouting at me and blaming me for all of his problems. I just can't take it anymore. A counselor recommended Al-Anon family groups. She said Al-Anon members have had experiences just like mine, and they would explain how Al-Anon is helping them. I didn't want to go to Al-Anon, but I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking breaking your heart? You might be surprised at what you can learn at an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
I'm Ben Utek. I played high school, college, and pro football, helping my team win the 2006 championship. It was an amazing day, but it can't compare to the joy I feel every day with my loving wife and 3 beautiful daughters. My football career ended after I suffered my 5th concussion. Did you know that over 1 million athletes suffer a concussion each year? That includes boys and girls, every age, every type and level of sport. It isn't always clear that a player has had a concussion, so parents, athletes, and coaches need to learn about concussion signs and symptoms. The American Academy of Neurology recommends athletes thought to have a concussion be immediately removed from play and not returned until assessed by a healthcare professional trained in concussion. This isn't just about sports. It's about your brain. When in doubt, sit it out. Learn more at aan.com/concussion. That's aan.com/concussion. A message from the American Academy of Neurology.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. I'm happy to say I won a bet on the William Hill app yesterday. I actually took the Chiefs. We all made a little bit of money yesterday, but that's not the case with everyone. I have a feeling that the books did quite well, or at least hopefully as well as they expected. And joining us on the line right now, he is Nick Bogdanovich with William Hill. Joins us right now on the line. Nick, thanks for being with us. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How about you?
I'm doing good. I won yesterday, so I'm happy. We're all happy in the studio. We took the Chiefs. So let me ask you this. I'm assuming you could tell us now, what was the biggest bet you took, a couple of the biggest bets you took leading up to the game yesterday?
Yeah, no, the biggest bet came yesterday, and it was here, KC -1 for $525,000. So
wow.
One lucky better looked like he was dead, and then Mahomes in fourth quarter magic. That was a little $1 million swing for that gentleman.
That's unbelievable. Okay, so let me ask you this, Nick. So I'm on your app while I'm watching the game, and by the way, in my opinion, William Hill has the best in-game wagering you can find. I really mean that. During the point where the Chiefs were down 10 points, I noticed on your app you had the Chiefs at plus 550. Did anybody take any action on that? Any big bets when the Chiefs were plus 550 down 10 in the fourth quarter?
A lot of bets, no huge bets, but a lot of bets, and it doesn't take many to add up when for every 100 you're giving away 550. So, and that's standard operating procedure with the in-play. Anytime a really good team gets down, the audience will always take the big plus price that they can make a historic comeback. And lo and behold, he found Tyreek Hill and flipped the game around. So all those in-play bettors who had faith turned every dollar into 550.
Now, I would imagine you guys did okay, though. I know you don't speak for all the other books in town, but how did you guys fare? Did you guys have a decent handle, and how did you guys make out?
Yeah, good handle, good win. Under was the key. There was a lot of over parlays. The props were good, and there was a ton of San Francisco money lines. So even though we did take that big bet on Kansas City, and there was plenty of Kansas City money out there, when it was all said and done, the house did pretty well.
So let's talk about that total for a second. It was lingering around 53, 53 and a half, 54, depending on where you went. So I got to ask you this, Nick. There's 51 points up there. San Francisco has the ball, so obviously they're trying to score, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. What were you thinking at that point? Because I actually thought the over was going to come in. There was still a minute 10 to go. San Francisco obviously is rushing down the field. It's going to be kind of a prevent defense, with the Chiefs. What's going through your mind then? Because that would have made a huge difference with, I would imagine, all the books in town, not just William Hill.
Yeah, no question about it. It was 31-20, and they had, I think, one timeout in about a minute 20. And listen, we've seen at that point you just don't want to get beat deep, so you can pick them right down the field, 10 yards here, 10 yards there. We've seen it 1,000 times. So everyone assumed that they would just go down, and they needed two scores. They might even kick the field goal first to make it 31-23, or try to get in the end zone right away. So that was what everyone thought was going to happen, and that would have been a horrific beat if you had the under, because it was a dead under the entire way.
So, Nick, you mentioned it, of course. One of the unique aspects about the Super Bowl is, of course, not just the fact that there's props, but just the sheer amount of prop action that is going about. And were there any that specifically hit as far as, you're catching heavy action with respect to whether or not they actually came through or not in the football game?
Oh, there was a couple really big ones. We lost really big on will Patrick Mahomes have a rushing touchdown. That was a monster payout for the public. And the fullback for the 49ers, when he scored, a lot of people were screaming, Kyle Juszczyk, or I have a hard time with his name. Yeah, when he scored, that was a big one for the public as well.
I actually thought if he caught if on that drive in the last when they were up 20-10, if he caught a couple of catches, to seal the game that he would have won the MVP. So Patrick Mahomes won the MVP. I actually think that Damian Williams should have won the MVP. What would have happened if Damian Williams won the MVP as opposed to Patrick Mahomes?
It wouldn't have been as good, but it still would have been good. Both of those were good options. And it's funny when you said that it was 20-10 in the fourth, and we're sitting there trying to figure out, because we had a lot of money on the MVP vote, and we're trying to figure out who's going to win it for the Niners. I mean, Jimmy G was at the time was 18-21 for 190 yards, but it was sort of vanilla. And then we were thinking, well, Bosa's got a sack, and Gould's got 2 field goals, and Debo's got about 80 yards, and your man Juszak, he caught the touchdown. And we were trying to figure out who was going to win the MVP on that side, and there was no clear-cut standout guy. But then it switched, and we didn't have to worry about it anymore. Because but you're right. Damian Williams, he's probably screaming, "Hey, what about me? Show me some love."
if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Nick Bogdanovich. Does a great job there for William Hill. Nick, are we going to see a time where it'll be regulated, where you'll actually be able to put prop bets on the color of Gatorade, on how many times Trump tweets, odds on whether Jay-Z will stand up with Beyonce during the national anthem, which they didn't, by the way? I mean, will we ever, that's another story, but will we ever see a time where you guys will actually be able to do those type of props and it'll be legal?
I think so. The prop we were just talking about, the MVP, for the longest time, we were never allowed to do that. Now we are doing it. And in the state of Indiana, we have a book. They allowed us to do the Gatorade color this year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think these things are coming, and it's just a little by little by little. I want to see elections. That's the one I want to see.
Yeah, me too.
Can you imagine what we would write right now on the presidential thing? So, yeah, I think it's just a little at a time, but I think we'll get there.
You mentioned elections. If you had to choose right now, where would Donald Trump be odds-wise in the election to 2020?
I think I saw it in faraway places, but it's right around. I think he's a small favorite to win it. So, I think he was a small favorite the last I looked, and that was about 2 weeks ago.
So speaking of futures, Nick, obviously, like 5 seconds after this football game is over, everybody starts to think to the 2021 season, of course, and and obviously both of these teams are going to be thought of as in the mix and be favorites to get back to the Super Bowl and win it. Your thoughts as to some of the other teams that you took a look at as far as the possibility of winning it all?
Yeah, no, we put it up about a week ago. The Chiefs, Niners, and Ravens are all the favorites to win it again, all about 7-8 to 1. And then you got your usual cast of characters right behind them, like Saints and Patriots, Packers. But where all the tickets go are the long shots, teams that you think can make a long run and turn 100 into 6,000 real quick. And who knows? I mean, the Browns, everyone was super excited for them this year, and they let people down. They may fly under the radar next year. So, and the Steelers might come back, and who knows? The Giants might make a run. They're in a weaker division, and they've got Saquon Barkley and a new coaching staff. So you just never know. If you get the right player, the right chemistry, and a few breaks, you can turn this thing pretty fast.
I like that subliminal message. It's all about the value. Where do you think that Tom Brady ends up? And do you think if he ends up as a Charger that they have a chance to make a run? Because I do.
All right. Well, two-part question there, Nick. Let me also ask you this, since he's mentioning Tom Brady. The Las Vegas Raiders are 30 to 1 to win the Super Bowl next year. If Tom Brady does become a Raider, how will that affect the odds, if you can answer that as well?
It's a tough one. Obviously, we're not getting Tom Brady in his prime. We'll be getting the 42-year-old version.
Right.
But still a heck of a football player. And I think Oakland was closer than you thought. They were having a good year, and then a lot of injuries happened, and things fell apart. And they got a lot of picks, and they got some maneuverability. So I would love to see Brady end up here. Can you imagine the Raiders in year one here with Tom Brady?
Unbelievable.
That would be pandemonium.
It would be Golden Knights revisited. And why not? I mean, if he wants to leave, why not come here instead of sharing L.A. with the Rams? I don't. And Oakland's close. I think they got a lot of good pieces.
Did he buy anything around the Red Rock area, or is that just a false rumor?
That I don't know, but I do know that he put his house up for sale in New England. That doesn't mean he's going to leave. Let's face it, he's got the legacy of all legacies, and you'd want to go out with the same franchise. So I still find it hard to believe that he wouldn't re-sign with the Patriots, but you can't get inside these people's heads. You just never know. I mean, let's face it, LeBron has done the tour, so it can be vogue to not finish your career with just one team.
And I would agree with you. The only pushback I have is that he's from California. His wife is, she's a supermodel. The L.A. They're both kind of celebrities. That's why I think he would end up on the West Coast. But you're right. It makes sense to finish his career obviously out in New England.
San Diego obviously is a big option. They got a brand new fancy stadium. They got a really good team. They got a lot of pieces there. And L.A. is L.A. He couldn't go wrong with either one. I would like to see it shaken up. So I hope he does go to the Chargers or the Raiders. And the whole New England thing is they'll have to start. I don't say start over from scratch because Belichick may or may not be there too. But that would definitely shake things up. I'd like to see it.
You mentioned the Vegas Golden Knights, of course. As we expect, there's a lot of handle on this team, of course. And initially, when they rolled into the NHL, what do you expect here going down the stretch as far as getting a ton of action with our NHL team here in town?
Well, we want them to play good and make the playoffs. Obviously, if they're playing good, the more people go to the window and the more they'll bet. Even though it creates more liability for us, that's okay. We just want them to be relevant. It's like that with any popular team. It's better when the Cowboys and the Raiders are relevant. It's better when the Lakers are relevant. So we want them to do good, and if we get hurt a little in the books, so be it. But we want them definitely to make a playoff run.
I think we're all in agreement there. Nick, you guys do a wonderful job there at William Hill. By far, it is my my favorite bookmaker in town. In fact, I was at Ellis Island yesterday using the William Hill kiosk you got there. I appreciate your time, Nick, as always. Thank you so much for coming on, and look forward to talking to you again soon, okay?
All right, guys, have a great week.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Nick.
There you go. That's Nick Bogdanovich, Director of Trading for William Hill, joining us on the line. It sounds to me like the books did just fine, but a lot of people had Chiefs action. Some big bets both ways. But all in all, it was a fantastic football game. That's exactly what you wanted. You wanted a lot of pressure in the fourth quarter. You don't want a blowout. That's exactly what this game was. It was exciting. It was fun. And if you wanted a training session that had a lip sync, then all you had to do was watch the halftime show between J-Lo and Shapiro. And if you want, I don't know. I guess I'm getting into the weeds here, but I guess if you want to see a couple of very attractive women shake their asses, I would just go to a strip club. I don't care about watching the halftime show.
Wow, that's a word.
That's just my opinion. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, a preview of the Iowa caucuses, ladies and gentlemen. Are you caucusing in Iowa? We're going to talk about that coming up next. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Kilmeade, Hannity, Levin, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Trial arguments, Iowa Democrats. I'm Mike Moss. House Trial Manager Adam Schiff makes his final arguments in the Senate impeachment trial.
Donald Trump has betrayed his oath to protect and defend the Constitution. But it is not too late for us to honor ours, to wield our power to defend our democracy.
The White House has just begun making final defense arguments. Then senators today will take to the floor to explain where they stand on either acquittal or conviction. A woman from Colombia was killed and 5 other passengers wounded early today in a shooting on a Greyhound bus.
It was about 75 miles north of L.A. in the town of Lebec, about 1:30 a.m., when one of the roughly 40 passengers on board began shooting fellow passengers with a handgun. The bus driver, who was not hit, pulled to the side of the road, at which time the shooter left the bus, but also left the gun on the bus. The driver then continued on to the next exit, where California Highway Patrol Sergeant Brian Pennings says the bus was met by paramedics.
The driver handled the situation very professionally. He handled the situation appropriately.
The alleged gunman was apprehended a few minutes after the shooting on the side of the road. Why he opened fire is unknown. Jim Roop, Los Angeles.
A lot on the line for Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden in today's Iowa caucuses. We get more from correspondent Arlette Science in Des Moines.
Joe Biden has been consistent in his message. He's essentially framed this race as a matchup between himself and President Trump, urging Iowans to caucus for him because he believes that the president is most concerned about facing him in a general election.
The World Health Organization is trying to tamp down excessive fear about the new coronavirus and the threat it poses. Social media platforms have begun to take steps to limit the spread of misinformation, rumor about the virus. The death toll from the outbreak is at 360 with 17,000 infected. The Dow up 196. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Indeed.com. Watch for slowing for an accident on the 215 Beltway eastbound east of Jones Boulevard in the Southern Valley. And a crash reported I-15 southbound at Flamingo. This is going to be at the off-ramp, not blocking the through lanes. Another crash on the Beltway, westbound at Green Valley Parkway in the East Valley, is an on-ramp issue. Indeed knows your company's roadmap to success starts with hiring first-rate employees. Visit Indeed.com/hire today and try tailored solutions to help discover the best people for your business. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their New Year sale.
Tina Trenner is back, and she's on 720 AM, 1015 FM KDWN every Sunday at 12 p.m. She's sick of the nonsense and has something to say every Sunday at 12 p.m.
If you own a business and want to bring attention to it, there's no better way than wrapping your vehicles. While you or your employees are driving around Vegas, let your vehicles scream about your products or services. Share with everyone on the road why you're so special. With a single vehicle wrap getting anywhere from 30,000 to 80,000 views per day, according to the Outdoor Advertising Association of America. Turn your vehicles into an amazing, spectacular moving billboard. Let Intershine Graphics show you how with the best wrap in the business. Go to IntershineGraphics.com. IntershineGraphics.com.
Hi, Doug Basham here. Join me Saturday afternoons from 2 to 4, and I'll tell you what your conservative, corporate-controlled, right-wing propaganda hate media isn't. You're welcome. That's Saturday afternoons, 2 to 4. Be there.
Finally ready for a year you can remember? Let 2020 be the year you finally regain control of your drinking without having to quit completely. Meet LifeBack, a physician-approved, completely private, personalized plan for kicking problem drinking to the curb. Using a combination of medication proven in clinical studies to reduce the urge to overdrink in 92% of people and in-app coaching and support tools, LifeBack makes drinking a choice rather than a habit or need. Every aspect of your LifeBack plan is managed on our mobile app from the privacy of your phone, and medication is delivered discreetly to your doorstep without the need for in-person doctor appointments. Start the LifeBack program now and treat yourself to a 2020 full of sharper focus, better health, saved money, and stronger relationships while still enjoying moderate drinking. Visit lifebac.com or call 888-959-8858 today to learn more. That's lifebac.com or call 888-959-8858 today. Call LifeBack today at 888-959-8858.
1015 FM, 720 AM, KDON, the talk of Las Vegas. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, hour number 2. He's J.D. Sharp. I'm Brian Shapiro. We got Chris Wynn in studio as well. Will you be caucusing in Iowa? Well, we're going to preview that for you. You know, caucusing. It sounds like a behavior or something you would have done at the AVN Porn Expo. I don't know. But will you be caucusing tonight? I don't know. It sounds like a dirty thing to do. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, we'll get to that. I want to start with Donald Trump, of course, because Donald Trump went off on Mike Bloomberg. As you know, Mike Bloomberg, another billionaire. Well, I shouldn't say another because we don't think Donald Trump is a billionaire, at least I don't. But Bloomberg is a billionaire. And Trump decided to just go off on him and attack him on television yesterday. Have a listen to this.
Very little. I just think of little. You know, now he wants a box for the debates to stand on. Okay, it's okay. There's nothing wrong. You could be short. Why should he get a box to stand on, okay? He wants a box for the debates. Why should he be entitled to that? Really? Then does that mean everyone else gets a box?
I guess if they want one, I have to negotiate
the other thing,
boxes.
very interesting. Cory Booker and all these people couldn't get any of the things that Bloomberg's getting now. I think it's very unfair for the Democrats, but I would love to run against Bloomberg.
By the way, for the record, Donald Trump, last I heard, spent $120,000 for a box. Okay, I'll leave that one alone. That was a horrible joke.
That was the worst
but,
joke you've ever had.
anyway,
That was so
Michael Bloomberg's advisor, Tim O'Brien, responded to Trump. This is absolutely hilarious. Listen to this. Again, this is Michael Bloomberg's advisor, Tim O'Brien, responding on television. Have a listen to this.
He's making fun of Mike's height because Mike stands on a stack of accomplishments that makes him about 10 feet taller than Donald Trump, and he's scared of him. Mike Bloomberg is everything Donald Trump says he is and isn't. And the fact that he's constantly talking, you know, I've been asked a lot lately because Trump has been coming after Mike so much. You know, what's it like to be in Donald Trump's head so much? And what I've said to people is when you get inside Donald Trump's head, all you're going to discover that you find there is a putter, a cheeseburger, a porn video, and somebody else's credit card.
Oh, that was great. That's a great
That
comeback.
guy should be a writer for a stand-up comic when he goes out on the road, right? I mean, that is good stuff.
I like the credit card and the porn in there. I think he's right about that, by the way. I would agree with him. But, you know, this is just another page from Donald Trump's playbook where he goes after candidates that don't, you know, that he sees as a threat. This is exactly what he did.
I think he goes after candidates that he wants to be isolated against. I think that he avoids candidates that he sees as a threat. Did you ever see? Has he ever said anything negative about Pete Buttigieg or Kamala Harris?
Yes, he has said negative things about Kamala Harris. He has.
Are you sure?
Not that I can recall with Pete Buttigieg, but yes, with Kamala Harris, he has said
I think that Donald
something.
Trump avoids those that he actually believes are a threat, and he isolates those that he wants to respond to him.
I disagree. I mean, that's why he brought up the Bidens. He brought up the Bidens because he assumed, and he's probably right, that Biden will be the guy that he'll be facing against. By the way, you're wrong about Pete Buttigieg. He has made fun of Pete's height also. So you're wrong. The guy makes fun of anybody that even can be a minor threat to him. If you don't believe me, you can look that up. He's gone after Pete Buttigieg. He goes after everybody. He went after Rubio's height because he is the most insecure man on the planet. I know a few others that are pretty insecure that live here in Las Vegas. I won't mention those. But there are Donald Trump, by far, he's the most insecure guy I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he really is. He'll go after someone based on looks, including women. Not that long ago, he went after Nancy Pelosi's teeth. He went after Ted Cruz's wife. You know, I mean, he goes after men and women based on looks and appearance. And the only explanation you could have there is that the man is insecure in his own skin, that you go after somebody else's looks. I mean, I would never attack Donald Trump based on the fact that he's obese. I would never attack Donald Trump based on the fact that he's orange. I would never go after Donald Trump based on the fact, you know, of his looks. And I'm sure Melania Trump married Donald Trump because he's such a handsome man. I mean, I give her all the credit in the world because let's be honest, Donald Trump is a supermodel in his own right. He's an extremely good-looking guy, very, very mature. Donald Trump's extremely intelligent, certainly has very thick skin. He just seems like a great guy, you know? I mean, you know, he would have served this country honorably if not for those bone spurs. I mean, you have to give Donald Trump credit. He's really a great guy.
Show me one 72-year-old man who was a supermodel, who was in really, really good shape, who was a little bit overweight, Brian.
George Hamilton, let's take a
look at Donald Trump at 39 years old and Brian Shapiro at 39 years old, and let's have that conversation.
Well, he had more money than me, but I will also say that
I'm saying from a pure aesthetic standpoint. Because right now, because you're making fun of him, okay, I get it. He's 72. He's a senior citizen. He's borderline geriatric. But let's have a conversation. When you guys are the exact same age, right next to each other, who was more attractive?
Well, I think it's a little easier to look good when you're a billionaire, number one. And number two, I will also go as far as to say you said a little overweight. According to doctors, he is obese. So let's be factually accurate there. He is obese.
No, I mean, he's definitely overweight.
He's disgusting.
I'm not. He's also 72. There's not a lot of guys that are in really, really good shape.
Why
at
is his skin orange? Does everyone old have orange skin?
Because he clearly tans. He spray tans, obviously.
He spray tans.
Yes, and he may have he may have a hairpiece.
It's possible.
Absolutely, yeah.
What was funny, though, is Brian wasn't necessarily criticizing the president. He was going on a sarcasm roll.
I realized.
That was pretty impressive.
I realized.
I mean, that was, Brian, I have to say, that was something right there.
I had to flip the script
line
on
of,
so anyway.
Monday morning sarcasm.
It would be different if Donald Trump was 45 or 48 years old, like when he ran for the president for the first time back in the 80s. But he's 72 years old.
Well,
I'm not going to make fun of a 72-year-old guy or a girl for their appearance, because, again, their bodies have deteriorated.
Then
about
why don't you take
30 about 30 or 40%?
Why don't you give the man who you support that advice?
Just by
Then
default.
why don't you give that advice to the man who you support, who does that on a daily basis and goes after people's looks, both men and women? It's disgusting. He went after Nancy Pelosi's teeth. He goes after Ted Cruz's wife. He goes after people's appearance and looks on a daily basis. So give him the same advice that you're giving somebody, like me, if I go after Donald Trump. Let's talk.
Get him on the line.
But Brian, let's wrap this up in a bow of this segment, okay?
I'd love that advice.
Let's wrap this up
to
in a
get that
bow.
obese man on the line. I would love to.
The whole point of this, though, is once again, we're talking about the President of the United States not being accurate and telling a falsehood.
Of course.
Michael Bloomberg never said that he wanted a box to stand on for the debates. You ran, of course, the audio from one of his advisors. Michael Bloomberg himself over the weekend actually made a comment and talked about the President of the United States being a pathological liar and that he never made a request to have any type of box whatsoever. So once again, we're talking about the president not being truthful.
Hey,
okay,
by the way,
and that's what this is all about.
when I saw Bloomberg's face, I always thought Bloomberg was like 6'2" or 6'3". I really did.
I didn't know. I wasn't aware of his height.
He is not a very tall guy. I
So
really
let's-
had no
all right.
idea until I actually looked it up.
I don't want to spend more than 5 minutes talking about Donald Trump's look. The man is disgusting inside and out, and we could just leave it at that.
He's also 72.
So Bernie Sanders, he's always been disgusting his whole life. Bernie Sanders, by the way, is surging with this caucus, and a lot of people on the Democratic side that think that Joe Biden has the best chance to beat Trump are worried a little bit. I mean, I heard
he's surging in Iowa.
Yeah, I heard the same stuff happen. I remember when Hillary was running against Sanders, a lot of people worried about Sanders. Look, we don't know what's going to happen there. I still think Joe Biden's going to be the candidate, but here's something interesting I want to bring up with you guys. So as Joe Biden is competing in Iowa right now, there's at least one GOP senator that's already talking about impeaching Joe Biden. The name is Joni Ernst. She's a Republican in Iowa. She told the Bloomberg News yesterday that Republicans could impeach Biden for his dealings in the Ukraine, specifically his handling of foreign policy with the country as his son. So here's my thoughts on this, and I've been pretty clear on it. Republicans, the ones that voted to not have witnesses in this impeachment trial, have zero credibility because a trial is about witnesses, it's about testimony, it's about documents, you name it. So anybody that wants to talk about Biden now, any of these Republicans that voted no on witnesses, have absolutely zero credibility. It is a sham. And if you want to tell me that the Democrats didn't prove their case, then why don't we talk about the Republicans that voted no on witnesses, like the Rubios and the Alexanders of the world, that said the Democrats did prove their case and that the president did withhold aid for personal gain and that there was evidence of that, yet they still voted to not have witnesses testify because they are cowards. This is about the truth. Nobody is above the law. And if you want to talk about the Constitution and executive privilege, what about doing the right thing and finding out the truth? It's not a trial unless you have all the evidence and witnesses put forth. Monica Lewinsky had to testify. Why won't, somebody like Bolton testify, who also is a moron, by the way? Republicans have adored John Bolton for years. This is a guy who cares more about selling books and making money than doing the right thing for the American people. Another coward, just like all those Republicans that voted for no witnesses. There is no excuse for it. And now Joni Ernst wants to talk now about trying to impeach Joe Biden. It is disgusting and it is a sad joke. Americans deserve to know the truth. And if the truth showed that it would exonerate the president, so be it. But there are already Republicans in the Senate that are admitting that the Democrats did their job in proving their case and that they didn't prove their case. The fact that Alexander is retiring, and this is what we're going to remember him by, make no mistake about it, a coward, okay? An absolute coward. And Mitt Romney, who actually showed some guts. Mitt Romney, who did the right thing, who voted for witnesses because he wants to know the truth. He believes that Americans deserve to know the truth. And now CPAC is saying that Mitt Romney is not invited after the Senate impeachment vote. It is a sad joke. It's all about politics. It's all partisan politics as usual. This isn't about doing the right thing. Anybody with a brain that is not completely biased will admit that what the president did was extremely wrong, could be criminal, and the fact that we didn't get those witnesses to testify, the fact we didn't get those text messages, and we didn't get all the information needed, and I say we, the American people, we deserve to know the truth. And don't you give me this crap, and don't you give me this excuse, because that's what it is. Oh, the Democrats had their chance. They tried to get Bolton to testify. He didn't show up, and then his attorneys threatened to sue them. So don't you give me that crap. The Democrats had their opportunity. That's a right-wing talking point. They did call Bolton, and he refused. And then a few weeks later, all of a sudden, these excerpts come out in his book because he wants to sell books, and he cares more about selling books than doing the right thing for the American people. So don't you give me that garbage, because it's crap. The fact that they're not letting Mitt Romney speak now is a sad joke. It's disgusting. Partisan hacks on the right. If you don't think the president committed a crime, fine, so be it. There are people like Rubio and Alexander, they think the president did commit a crime. Or at least I shouldn't say that, but they do believe that the president had wrongdoing in that phone call. It was not a perfect phone call. And there's not one person in the Senate that believes it was a perfect phone call. Whether it rose to the level of impeachment or not, let the witnesses testify. Let all the evidence come forward. Otherwise, guess what? It's not a trial. It's not a trial. I'm just sick of it. You know, we got off the air on Friday, and then we heard about Alexander, the vote with Alexander. Yeah. It was a joke. It's a sad joke. We'll open up the phone line. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Your thoughts on this. The fact that CPAC is saying Mitt Romney is not invited anymore. They're already talking about, some Republicans are already talking about Joe Biden impeaching him if he wins. And then, of course, we have the Iowa caucus coming up. So we're taking your phone calls on that. Again, that number to call is 702-257-5396. If you want to be a part of the program, it is 257-5396.
And Brian, you mentioned Lamar Alexander. He, along with some other Republican lawmakers, have come out and used words as far as that phone call, like inappropriate, like it was wrong. But it doesn't rise to the impeachment level. It doesn't rise to a level where we should take the president of the United States out of office, which is, you know, but you're making comments as far as like lawmakers saying that, and then you're going to vote not to even hear witnesses in the Senate portion of the trial. It is absolutely inexcusable, in my opinion. There's no reason whatsoever that you would not want to hear from the likes of people, even like Mick Mulvaney, as well as John Bolton. Especially when John Bolton is clearly has intent to testify, okay? The American people, over 70% of the American people across the board, whether you're Republicans, Democrats, Trump supporters, not Trump supporters, never Trumpers, said that they wanted to hear witnesses in the Senate portion of the trial, and now we are not going to have that. It is absolutely a cover-up, and they are culpable as far as the Republicans who voted no. Well, it's 100% true, JD. I don't know.
A cover-up?
Yeah, it's a cover-up from a standpoint of it's not a real trial. It wasn't. Okay. It's not going to be a real trial because you're not going to hear from very relevant witnesses.
Chris, honest to God, if the Democrats had a viable candidate, and I've asked probably 5 people this question, but if they had a viable candidate, would Donald Trump be impeached at this point?
Well, no, yes, he absolutely would, because Donald Trump is getting impeached because he did impeachable things. It has nothing to do with Democrats. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It has nothing to do with Hunter Biden. By the way, Brian just went on that diatribe, right? I need to point out a very important fact here for those people who are saying that Joe Biden needs to be impeached or that Hunter Biden needs to be charged with something.
That's insane.
Both Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were cleared. There was an investigation, and there was no wrongdoing found. Is there nepotism around the world? Absolutely.
There was a very minor
you're going to say, JD, you said it a million times. It was a small investigation.
It was a very minor investigation.
There was an investigation. They've been cleared of any wrongdoing.
And Joe Biden definitely went on TV and said, if this person is, if this prosecutor, if this Ukrainian prosecutor,
and we've gone over the details as to why he did that, and we talked about it 5, 6, 7, 10 times in the show.
$1 billion, which is 2.5 times more than what Donald Trump supposedly was thinking of withholding, but he actually ended up giving them.
It's not. The fact pattern is absolutely different with respect to Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Donald Trump, since day one, has always made sure that the money that is being given to foreign countries is being given properly. Because
he doesn't decide it. It was Congress-appointed funds, JD.
Because he is America first. He is America first, and he does not like to give aid to countries if he feels like like another country should be giving more aid, or if we're doing something for them. Because it's all about business with him. It's all about reciprocity. It's all about making a deal that works for both sides. And in that conversation, and this is never discussed, but he talked to Zelensky and he said, "What about Germany? Germany isn't putting up this money. Why do we have to put up this money?" Because Donald Trump, again, wanted to make sure that the money was going to the right places. And let's be honest, he did not even need to look into Joe Biden. And if witnesses were called, it would have taken probably 2 or 3 more months to get this thing done. We're talking probably $250 million in taxpayer money. And Hunter Biden would have gone up there on the stand and made a complete fool of himself because he can't plead the fifth.
All right, let
All
me
right,
just
first of all, it's Congress-appointed funds. You're talking about the president making a decision and saying, oh, why do we have to give them the... It's not the president's decision. He doesn't have the leeway to do that. You cannot have a quid pro quo where you're holding something over a country's head that's already been allocated by Congress. I don't understand. You're making the comparison that's not a comparison with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's completely two different things.
Did they get the funding?
Absolutely, they got it.
Okay.
After Donald Trump was under the impression that they were going to do a favor for
First
him.
of all,
yes.
all right, let me just respond and say, just because they got the funding, that's
doesn't-
irrelevant. Okay, hold on. Just because they got the funding doesn't mean that the president didn't commit a crime, which would have been possibly, it appears, withholding funds for political gain. What do you think out there? We're taking your phone calls right now, 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, 257-5396. Let's start off with L. L, you're first up on the Vegas take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, El? Been a while.
Good morning, gentlemen. Chris and Brian, thanks for the therapy in the mornings. We really need this right now. But my thing is this. Let's just say they voted for the witnesses. This would have been torture until the whole thing, they made up their minds. They had the numbers. They were never going to convict. So this would have been a couple of months of torture only to have them vote in. So let's just consider ourselves lucky that they
I totally agree.
voted down. But let the voters decide. I think we're going to see. We're going to like the decision.
Well, I mean,
So justice is not getting done, so we're lucky because of that? I don't really understand that rationale.
Do you realize what would have had to happen for Donald Trump to be impeached? 20 senators would have had
been able
to
to
turn
hear
over.
John Bolton and Mick Mulvaney talk about what the president did wrong.
And it wouldn't have just been Bolton and Mulvaney. They would have gone on and on and on and on both sides. This would have lasted a long, long time. And,
Disagree.
And the
Here's
public
about getting to the truth,
the public, which is already very tired of it, would have been even more tired of it.
Hold on. I don't believe you could rubber stamp everything this president's doing. I don't know how you do it, but one person told me, I'll tell you what it's about. And he said when Trump got the tax cuts, I had $3,000 instantly in my paycheck to say, I think he's a racist, but I had $3,000. So JD probably has profited from this. So good luck to you, but we'll see when the voters vote.
El, we appreciate the phone call. Let me just correct one thing that you said. Okay, Adam Schiff on Friday was trying to strike a deal with the Republicans. Said we'll put a week cap on this. We will call the witnesses we want. You call the witnesses you want. He was putting a weak cap on this. So this was not going to be drawn out. He was trying to put, because that's what Republicans, the excuse they were making, oh, it's going to be drawn out for months. He said it on Friday. He wanted to put a weak cap on this.
Why would they not think that? Adam Schiff's testimony lasted 24 hours, and Trump's attorneys lasted 2 hours.
All right, well, let's see what you think out there. 702-257-5396. Go to Joel. Joel, you're next up on the Vegas take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Joel?
Thanks very much for taking my call.
Sure.
First of all, I want to apologize to JD for calling him an idiot the other day.
Hey, there's
no need.
It's all right, Joel. You got passionate. You have an opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. I appreciate you calling in.
No need to apologize.
Okay, but now let's get to the specifics.
Sure.
First of all, Trump didn't release the funding until after he got caught with that phone call. Number one. Number two, if the Senate Republicans wanted to call either Biden to come in and testify, they have the votes to do it. They decided not to do it. So that's a bogus argument with regard to Hunter Biden or Joe Biden and pushback by the Democrats, because Republicans have the majority. They could have done it.
Right.
The Republicans also, throughout the entire House proceedings, were complaining that the administration did not get the right to defend themselves, to call witnesses. Now, suddenly, when the witnesses that were being considered to be called by Democrats could have been damaging to Trump, they changed their tune.
No, listen, Joel, I agree with you. There's absolutely no question that there's one reason and one reason only why Republicans are blocking all this evidence from putting forward. It has nothing to do with the Constitution. It's not legal ramifications, and it has everything to do with the fact that it would make Donald Trump and his administration look bad, and it would show guilt. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to John. John, you're next up. What's going on?
Oh, I just
want to say, how come the House of Representatives did not call John Bolton when they had the chance? Why do they have to wait until they go to the Senate?
Well, that's not factually accurate. They actually did call him. And
We've gone over this like 16 times.
They did call him. He ignored.
They did.
Okay, so John, he ignored the request. Bolton did. And then you know what happened when they put in another request? Bolton's attorneys threatened to sue the Democrats. That's what happened. And then all of a sudden, a week later, how convenient, Bolton has a book out, and he says, hey, you know what? If they subpoena me, I'll come in and testify. Because it's about money, and he knows that the truth is going to come out in his book, and it's going to make him look bad if he said he's not going to testify. John, those are just the facts, my friend.
All right, that's what I wanted to know.
All right, no problem, John. We're here.
Yeah, good call, John.
John, let me tell you something, man. We're here to help you. I'm here to help all of you Republicans out there.
C-Win and Brian Shapiro therapy.
I'm here.
Therapy.
Listen, all of you people.
Acquittal therapy. Impeachment acquittal therapy with
Listen,
C-Win and Brian
for
Shapiro.
all of you people that are wearing the Donald Trump knee pads, I am here to help you take those knee pads off.
Oh, wow.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Hey, how you doing? I'm just calling because in the bipartisan that we're seeing, within this whole investigation and impeachment, we also hear that same bipartisan from the commentators, you guys, and you're all bright, and I love hearing it, but we can't seem to want to find the one thing, which is the truth on both sides.
You don't think I want the truth, Jeff? What have I ever said on this show?
I'm
Hold
not
on
sure
a second.
that Brian can handle the truth.
What have I ever said on this show, Jeff?
Colonel Jessup.
Guys, what have I ever said on this show, Jeff, that would lead you to believe I don't want the truth?
That the Bidens did a crime.
The Bidens didn't do a crime. There was an investigation that found they didn't.
They've done a crime. He
Okay, so because you say it, it's true then, is what you're trying to.
Okay, so Jeff, let's talk about the truth for a second.
Yes.
Okay, the Bidens were investigated. Here's what I think. Here's what I believe took place. Hold on. Here's what I think took place. I believe it is without question that Hunter Biden got this job because of who his father is. Here's the difference, Jeff, between what the Bidens did and what Trump did. Withholding aid for political gain is a crime. Getting a job because your father's the vice president is not a crime. Do you understand that?
No, because I was a cop and I was a detective. I'm just gonna make a point.
You got 30 seconds, and then I'm up against a break, sir.
You got it. Here's my point. My point is, you know what? You said he was investigated. He was cleared. OJ was investigated. And he was cleared.
He was found guilty, and he was found guilty.
I like that.
OJ Simpson was. Excuse me. OJ Simpson was found liable of those two deaths.
No. I'm saying in the court of law.
In the criminal court, he's talking about, but the civil court, he was found liable.
Hey,
okay, I appreciate the call. So basically what Jeff is saying is he thinks there's just as much evidence to prosecute the Bidens as there was in the O.J. Simpson
he
murder
is
trial.
correct, though, that O.J. was
We got to
acquitted,
take a
though.
break. We'll take a quick break. More of your calls, 702-257-5396. Take a quick break. Be back right after this.
My dogs do puppy zoomies around the house, so I will always endorse Dinovite. DINOVITE.com. Why wait? Save your dog from being stinky and having hot spots and shedding and making sure that they have the proper nutrition. Get them started early. I mean, your dogs will love you for it.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite at DINOVITE.com.
Hey, have you heard that ransomware attacks have increased by 500% this year?
Yeah, cybercriminals are targeting all types of businesses, encrypting their data and holding it hostage unless they pay up.
What if we're their next victim?
Don't worry, we have Barracuda to detect, prevent, and recover from ransomware and other advanced threats.
So we're secured?
Absolutely. We'll pay no ransom and keep this business up and running.
That's a relief.
Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
The impeachment trial is hearing final arguments today. More from correspondent Linda Kenyon on Capitol Hill.
I submit to you on behalf of the House of Representatives that your duty demands that you convict President Trump.
House Impeachment Manager Jason Crow addressing the Senate, saying the president's behavior was not only wrong, it was enough to remove him from office.
In America, no one is above the law, even those elected President of the United States.
The Senate will vote on whether to convict or acquit Trump on Wednesday.
Iowans will choose between a crowded field of Democratic candidates tonight and the first opportunity for voters to weigh in on who should face President Trump in November. Bernie Sanders projects the most momentum heading into the first-in-the-nation caucus. A suspect is in custody after an early morning shooting on a Greyhound bus in Southern California. A woman from Colombia was killed and 5 other passengers wounded by the gunman. On Wall Street, the Dow is up about 140 points. I'm Mike Morse.
Mike?
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. A crash on the Southern Beltway eastbound, east of Jones Boulevard. Another accident, this is going to be on the Southern Beltway in the East Valley, westbound at Green Valley Parkway. And a crash on the 95 southbound at MLK Boulevard. On the surface streets, watch for slowing for the accident Flamingo at Tuscany Casino Drive. The weather gets better, the commute gets easier when you love where you live. The team at Rocket Mortgage knows that, and they can help make your dream of home ownership a reality. Rocket Mortgage. Push button, get mortgage. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
It's your friend Sean Hannity here. You know, investing in real estate around this great country is something that I take very seriously. Now, I have seen firsthand the importance of working with and trusting the advice of an agent that actually live in the market and have proven track records of making sellers money in that city. So contact the agent I personally trust, Rick and Terry Brinkus of Keller Williams Realty, the marketplace. And Rick and Terry have averaged over 250 sales per year. Now get this, for 25 straight years. Now they understand the headache and the stress that comes with selling a home, and they know how to eliminate the drama. In fact, they can help set a price and a deadline you agree to. Now, if that deadline passes, they will buy your home. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Rick and Terry Brinkus in Las Vegas. And if I needed to sell a home in Southern Nevada, well, no question, I'd call the Brinkus team. Call the Brinkus team today at 702-456-5959, online at thebrinkusteam.com.
License number BS 16186.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. And we give you this magic music, which will inspire the perfect hire to begin clog dancing. Okay, there's no magic music, but skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
Keep them separated.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Man, are we separated as a nation. Speaking of being separated on the right and on the left, divided on so many different issues. I don't think the President of the United States, or as I like to call him, the divider-in-chief, is helping that situation anyway, in any way, shape, or form. I believe Americans deserve to know the truth in this trial. It's not going to happen. We're not going to hear from witnesses. We're not going to see the text messages and vital documents. And, oh, yeah, now we're learning that the White House had emails dating back to June in regards to aid between Zelensky and Donald Trump. But guess what? The White House is not providing those emails. They're just saying that they exist. Now that they know that the president's going to get off, they're saying, yeah, these emails exist, but they're blocking any of the information in those emails. For all we know, there could be a quid pro quo in writing from the President of the United States dating all the way back to June. But the White House won't release that information. The White House won't let you know what really happened, because the White House does not want you, the American people, to know the truth. And all these people on the right should be ashamed of themselves for the way they voted. A shameful thing that we are learning right now in our society. And, you know, listen, politicians on the left and the right, and I'm not saying that the left would do whatever they could to protect the president, but guess what? Monica Lewinsky testified back in the day, okay? We deserve to know what happened. Witnesses should be testifying. There is absolutely no valid excuse that anybody on the right can make, okay? And Alan Dershowitz, or as I like to call him, Alan Douchewitz, who made his argument last week, who said, well, if the president believes it's in the best interest of the country for him to win in 2020, then basically he can do whatever he wants.
Which is hilarious on its face. It's hilarious on its face.
Speaking of O.J. Simpson, a guy who's defended some of the biggest scumbags in the world, Alan Douchewitz himself. 702-257-5396 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the program. Again, 257-5396. Before we get back to our calls, I just want to mention, we talk about these fatalities on the roadways in Las Vegas all the time. Sadly, I wish I didn't have to report any of them. But you want to stay away from the area of South Rainbow Boulevard and Eldora Avenue. I guess that's close to Rainbow and Sahara.
And it's right by Desert Inn, by the way, also.
Yeah. So we're learning South Rainbow's closed, traffic being diverted based on Don't know how many people have died, but there's at least one fatality. We hope there's not more. But again, another situation where maybe somebody's driving, recklessly or drunk or who knows. But anyway, stay away from that area. Tragic. And we will continue to monitor that situation. Again, as I mentioned, taking your phone calls at 702-257-5396. Caucus in Iowa, we're previewing that. We're talking about Joe Biden and how there are already some GOP senators that are talking about impeaching him, which is beyond unbelievably ridiculous. Bernie Sanders is now surging. This Iowa, a lot of Democrats are very, I guess you could say, scared of that. And John Kerry now deleted expletive-laced tweet addressing a report he was overheard planning a 2020 run. It's kind of crazy. This story is kind of nuts as well.
Well, you know why the Democrats are scared of Bernie Sanders, right?
Why is that?
Because he's not a Democrat.
Well,
because he is basically a socialist, and I made this statement last week. I said the Democratic Party is going to end, in my opinion, in 2020. If Bernie Sanders wins the nomination, socialism will be the party moving forward. I think you've got AOC in 2024, and the list goes on and on. I think that the Democrats are terrified of Bernie Sanders because he really isn't a Democrat. He's actually a socialist.
Well, I don't necessarily characterize it as they're terrified, because I think if Bernie Sanders ends up being the nominee, it's going to be one of those things where everyone's going to galvanize behind whoever that nominee is. And if Bernie Sanders happens to be the guy, that's fine. I get what you're saying as far as him being a democratic socialist, but we all know what's going to happen. If, for example, just to say hypothetically, Bernie Sanders ends up being president of the United States, it's not like Bernie Sanders is going to be able to implement all these socialistic policies. We all know how Washington, D.C. works,
let me be
and
clear.
there's roadblocks up all over the place. He's not going to be able to just roll out some type of situation where we're going to be Sweden or Venezuela. It's just not going to happen.
Let me be clear. The reason why I'm not supporting Bernie Sanders because he wants $15 an hour minimum wage and he thinks college should be free for all, completely and utterly ridiculous.
Well, I disagree with. No, it's not utterly ridiculous. I disagree with you
think
on that.
college should be free for all?
No, I think $15 an hour is something that's absolutely viable in a lot of parts of this country, Brian.
Okay,
I absolutely disagree with you on that.
First of all, he's not talking about parts.
He's talking
hold on.
universal.
He's talking universally, number one.
Well,
Hold on,
yeah.
let me make my point.
Okay.
Number two, this is why I disagree with it. I'm not comfortable with a 16-year-old working at McDonald's making $15 an hour. However, I am comfortable with somebody who maybe is 19, 20, 21, a little bit older that is trying to support a family. Here's the problem with this. If you require $15 an hour minimum wage for some of these small businesses that are making ends meet and trying to get now, listen, I'm not talking about Walmart, Target, and some of the biggest companies in the world. I'd be okay with that because they make billions of dollars. I'm talking about the small business that is struggling to make ends meet to get by. I think that would hurt small business.
That's the whole point. It destroys capitalism.
Okay,
the small business would be destroyed, and the major corporations would basically would have.
But anyway,
the
I think you
government
guys
would
are
have a piece of the
simplifying
major
this way
corporations.
too
No,
much.
We're definitely not.
It's a very complicated thing.
Especially when you think about the automation era and how a lot of restaurants and trucking companies are replacing human beings with robots. And if you're required to pay $15 an hour to a human being, that would happen on a much larger scale.
All right, let's take some phone calls on this, 702-257-5396. Iowa caucus is coming up. What are your thoughts on that? The fact that Mitt Romney is now not invited to CPAC because he voted to get witnesses. He actually did the right thing. It's why I respect Mitt Romney. Number to call, 702-257-5396. What do you think about no witnesses being called? What do you think about Representative Alexander and a few others as well, including Rubio, that said, listen, the Democrats proved their case, but I'm not going to vote for witnesses. It's absolutely absurd. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Brady. Brady, what's going on?
What's up, Brady?
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. Hey, one thing is, the President of the United States, as you can see after going through all these trials, has the right to look into corruption that was in Ukraine and Hunter Biden. And Victor Shokin, the guy that was fired by Joe Biden, says, listen, man, if you don't get this guy fired, you ain't getting $1 million or the $1 billion. And son of a bitch, the guy was fired. That's Victor
Okay,
Shokin.
so let's hold on, Brady. Okay, Brady, let's talk about those things that you just brought up. Let me ask you a question. Since you just talked about caring about corruption, because I'm sure the president, all of a sudden he cares about corruption in the Ukraine. Why not go through the proper channels? Why not go through the DOJ?
The State
Hold on, why not?
You trust the DOJ, just like JD
So hold on a
I
second.
wouldn't trust the FBI or DOJ.
Wrong. So why does he?
Clearly he does.
So why does he trust them when it's convenient for him? Then please explain.
I I'd rather trust Rudy Giuliani.
Answer my question.
Lev Parnas and the boys.
Brandon,
Yeah.
Obama,
So
makes sense.
Biden.
All right. So let me
Scumbag.
get this right. Let me get this straight. I just want to make
He
sure.
expected he expected
Okay,
a
hold on.
lot of leaks.
Let me
It's
just
his personal
That-
attorney.
that's
Brady,
why, that's why he
Send your
wanted his personal attorneys, and I
can't
don't
do that.
Okay,
though.
and I
You
don't
got to go
blame
to
him
proper
for that.
channels.
Okay, there's three people talking at the same time.
Attorney.
Brady, let me be very clear here because I want to make sure I understand your position. Your position is if the president thinks there's corruption anywhere in the world, he should hire a personal attorney and Lev Parnas and not go through the proper channels like the DOJ. Is that your position, Brady?
Exactly. Why would you trust the
Oh my God, this
Clapper
guy
or
is just
Brennan?
unbelievable.
They're idiots.
All right, let me ask you another question.
Well, no, let's define.
Or maybe not. Go ahead, JD.
Let's define proper channels here, Brian.
Proper channels is the DOJ.
It's not
I
Rudy
get that.
Giuliani and Lev
I
Parnas.
get that.
I just defined it.
What does that mean, though?
It means that
Is he required to do that?
what it means is
No,
when
but is he absolutely required to do this? Is he breaking the law? Is he is he committing a crime if he's not doing that? Because if
do you
he's
want me to
not,
answer?
and considering what happened,
I will answer.
and how he was attacked by the FBI and the DOJ, I don't blame him for doing what he did.
You're asking me a question. I'll give you an answer. It is illegal and it is against the law for the President of the United States to hire a personal attorney and people like Lev Parnas to do his dirty work, to dig up dirt on a political opponent for his own personal gain and withhold aid, which is what John Bolton is going to say in his book. It is absolutely against the law. It is not against the law to go through proper channels. Now, Brady, let me ask you another question, because you called in last week and we had a bet on the air because you said Adam Schiff is going to be go to jail before the end of June, correct? And we had a verbal bet on the air?
Well, that's still on. We got a few months to go, right?
Okay, but let me ask you something else. Would you like to bet $1,000 on the air right now?
I'm pretty sure that's illegal, Brian.
If you think that Schiff is going to jail, I will bet you $1,000 right now. But by the end of June, you are wrong, and Schiff will not go to jail. Hold on, this is between him and me.
I think you're actually committing a crime.
Fine.
Right now.
So let's.
It sounds like a quid pro quo right now.
Yeah, well, I am giving you a quid pro quo to a right-wing hack Republican who never speaks the truth. Man up. Man up. Is that a yes or no? Hold on a second. Yes or no? Are you a coward, or would you like to place a $1,000 wager on the air? Yes or no? Yes or no?
$100. We'll keep it simple. 100. I don't want to take all your money.
That's fair. Okay, so our rule is Schiff by June 31st, if he is not behind bars.
No, he has to be charged with something. How's that?
Okay, fine. Either or. That's fine. Charged with something or behind bars. You have until June 31st. It is the easiest money I've ever made in my life. And guess what, Brady? When I get your $100, I'm donating it to the Democratic Party. What do you think about that?
Oh, if I win, I'm going to donate to the Short Bus Society.
Okay, you do that if you'd like. So basically, you're donating it to a society that you already belong to. I understand. Brady, thank you for calling in, and that's going to be the easiest $100 I've ever made in my life, and I'll take your wife out on a date.
I actually would not be surprised if Schiff is charged with something by then.
It's just unbelievable.
I would not be shocked.
All right, well, that's not going to happen.
I don't know what that would be.
Right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Michael Avenatti, a guy who's come on this show dozens of times, in fact, every week for the last 6 months. We're going to play a little bit of audio from Michael Avenatti, and this was a phone call that he did not know was being recorded in regards to Nike. It is kind of telling and interesting, and we'll take your thoughts on this coming back. We'll hear from Michael Avenatti in his own words in a private conversation with Nike. Do you think he was really trying to extort Nike? We'll take your calls coming back to 702-257-5396. That Michael Avenatti audio coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Fox tonight. Over 24 million viewers have made 911 Lone Star TV's #1 news show.
911, what's your emergency?
And this week, it's gonna blow
Tornado Teddy, I'm scared.
you
What is happening?
away.
Good God.
Get out of there now! Then, if you haven't seen the fall's biggest show, Prodigal Son, this one will get you hooked.
We got a bomb. If we trip any of these wires, he dies.
New 911 Lone Star and Prodigal Son. Fox tonight.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
For Marie, taking care of her siblings isn't just a choice, it's her responsibility. Every day, Leah and Johnny rely on Marie's help just to survive. Marie's greatest fear is what would happen to them if something happened to her. Like Leah and Johnny, most adults with intellectual disabilities need unique care. Nearly 424,000 of them are still waiting. Help more families like Marie's. Give the gift of opportunity. Please give to Opportunity Village at ovgift.org.
Amid Las Vegas's glitz and glamour lurks the tragedy of homeless veterans, our nation's heroes who return from war but continue to fight a battle for survival on our city's gritty streets. The basic human need of shelter shouldn't be a luxury to military heroes, which is why there is Veterans Village. Veterans Village is a nonprofit organization providing transitional housing, meals, and social services to homeless vets to give them a hand up. Veterans Village is a place of hope, but we can't do it without you. Be a hero to heroes and donate any amount you can afford at vvlv.org. That's vvlv.org. vvlv.org.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Coming up, breaking down LeBron James' speech on the Kobe tribute in L.A. I'll explain to you why I was very disappointed by it. We'll get to that. Coming up here in hour number 3, also Tom Brady. Is he really coming to Vegas? Gerard Gallant, his first public statements for the most part since being fired by the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll get to that as well. But we want to start by talking here a little bit about Michael Avenatti and an update from our producer, Jason Stein, and then we have some audio to play for you. Jason, what can you tell us about the latest? What's going on with Michael?
In Manhattan, a lawyer for Nike is being cross-examined in the case about whether or not Nike made some payments to some athletes. This guy who was on the stand said that until Avenatti actually made the allegations, they had no idea that this was even something that was out there. So that's what's happening right now as we speak. And
fair enough. Are you done? Is that your report?
You told me to come in here and give you the update.
Yeah, I just wanted a quick update. So we have
the trial continues.
So we have some audio that we're going to be playing for you. It's not on my cut sheet for whatever reason, but anyway, we have some audio. This is give me an update on what or at least tell us what this audio is.
Right. Brian, can you tell the listeners what a cut sheet is?
No, nobody cares. Go ahead.
You could be like Sean, you could be like Brian Kilmeade. Cut number 65.
No, I do want to talk more about your wife's plastic surgery.
Right.
Okay. Right. In all seriousness, what this is a tape that was played. This is a tape that was played Friday in the trial, in the Nike trial. Okay, this was played Friday. This is a minute and a half of Avenatti back in March in a meeting where he was threatening to reveal allegations by his client, Coach Gary Franklin.
So this is a private conversation, and Avenatti didn't know he was being recorded.
The Nike people were recording him at the request of the FBI back in March.
All right,
okay?
So this is interesting.
And so what this comes down to, and you're going to listen for yourself, is it what the defense says is that Avenatti's just being a hard-nosed lawyer that is negotiating with these people. Yeah. Or does this rise to the level of extortion?
The reason why I wanted you to explain that for the record is because it's not on the cut sheet that you gave me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so you made a boo-boo. Can you admit that you made a mistake?
I made the mistake in thinking you could actually remember anything, that you need everything written down.
No, that's what a cut sheet is for. When you do a 3-hour show, that's the producer's job and responsibility.
Well, I'm saying we have the cut, so let's play the cut.
Thank you. Can you admit that you made a mistake, though?
Yeah, I'm wrong. And I'm wrong about everything last week, too.
No, you're just not very tall. That's all.
It's just a big blanket apology.
Yes. You're just not very tall. That's all. You're not allowed to go on some of those Disney rides. All right, well, fine. Let's play this audio. This is Mike Avenatti not knowing that he was being recorded. Here it is. Have a listen.
We're going to get $1.5 million for our guy, and we're going to be hired to handle the internal investigation. And if you don't want to do that, we're done. I mean, this isn't that tough. No, just listen.
Go ahead.
I want to be really clear with you. Okay. I'm not around with this, and I'm not continuing to play games. And I don't, this isn't complicated. You guys know enough now to know you got a serious problem. And it's worth more in exposure to me to just blow the lid on this thing. A few $1 million doesn't move the needle for me. I'm just being really frank with you. So if that's what is being contemplated, then let's just say it was good to meet you, and we're done. And I'll proceed with my press conference tomorrow, and I'll hang up with you now, and I'll call the New York Times, who are awaiting my call. I'm not around with this thing anymore. So if you guys think that, we're going to negotiate $1.5 million and you're going to hire us to do an internal investigation, but it's going to be capped at $3 or $5 or $7 million, like, let's just be done.
So, Michael, I hear you.
And I'll go take $10 billion off your client's market cap. But I'm not around.
Michael, I hear you. You did put a number.
No, I don't think you do.
Well, here's the thing about this audio. Hold on,
Yeah,
let me respond.
Interesting.
Okay, hold on.
It's very clear that
Okay,
there's.
so here's my quick response to this, and then I want you guys to tell me what you think about this. Is he extorting Nike, or is he doing the best job for his client? See, that is the question legally that needs to be answered.
Well, who is his client in this situation?
Well, we know who he was representing, but the bottom line here is this:
Who was he representing?
He didn't know that he was being recorded. I don't know the legalities.
Well,
of that.
some states are single party, some states are not single party. And if it's a single party state where it's just one person, if I have a conversation with you, for example, in Nebraska, I can record that conversation without you knowing. But that cannot take place in Nevada. So, and it's the same thing with California. So I don't know what the law is I believe he was in New York when he had this conversation. I don't know what that law is, but I know that if it was a single party conversation, then I'm guessing this lawsuit wouldn't be taking place. These criminal proceedings wouldn't be happening. I'm sure it's a double party.
And by the way,
I think that
his
this
client
would be totally thrown
hold on,
out.
Just
but
to answer
who was he representing?
Just to answer your question, Coach Gary Franklin is his client. Franklin had the goods on Nike allegedly, so that's who he was representing. And again, it boils down to this: do you have an attorney that's trying to do the best job for his client and saying, he has this type of information, it's going to hurt your company, settle this with us?
Well, clearly he is.
Well, is that extortion?
No, that's not. In my opinion, it would be extortion if he didn't have a client. And if he was just saying, "I have this information about you," exactly. If I have this information about you, and I'm gonna tell a lot of people, I'm gonna create a giant media windfall out of this, and it's going to affect your bottom line. To me, that is extortion. But there's one thing that's clear: is that Michael Avenatti was not effing around.
Okay, so
that is very clear.
Here's what the prosecutors.
That's
are
what I
claiming.
learned from this conversation.
The prosecutors are claiming that Avenatti needed this cash to pay off debts. Now, I don't know if that's true
Doesn't
or
matter.
not, but it shouldn't matter, right?
Should make
because
no,
the nature of what he's
totally
getting the money for
immaterial.
has nothing to do with
Nothing,
it, right?
right.
Yeah.
Well,
it's about the actual actions going.
And that indicates a poor case on their half.
Look, Brian and JD, here's the deal. As someone who is a layperson, the average Joe, after listening to that phone call, all I think about Nike is screwed either way, right? I think Nike is screwed if they have to pay off Avenatti, and then they're screwed if they don't, obviously. And Michael Avenatti points that out in that phone call. So that's what I got out of that.
I'm surprised that they didn't just pay him off.
Right.
I mean, this company does what, 30,
it's
30
peanuts,
35
right?
So here we are now.
a year.
So, gentlemen,
and this is going to affect how many? It's going to affect Duke, UNC. I mean, some of the biggest schools in the college basketball world.
By extension.
So, gentlemen,
just by association.
Gentlemen, here's where we're at right now. And by the way, I agree with both of you. Here's where we're at right now. We have Michael Avenatti in 24/7 solitary confinement in a jail that houses very, very violent criminals. We have Michael Avenatti, who is in El Chapo's former jail cell right now. He's being treated like a terrorist. And
we all understand, though, Brian, why that is. It's because he has an adversarial relationship, and that's putting it mildly, with the likes of William Barr, with the likes of Donald Trump, with the likes of you pointed this out many times on the show. With very powerful people, you cannot have skeletons out there. That's kind of what the whole way he's being treated, as far as the jail cell and basically the persecution. It has to do with that, right? It has nothing to do with the actual details of this case.
I agree with that, and I've said it a billion times on this show, and I'll say it again because I think it's a very important point that I make. I don't know whether Michael Avenatti committed a crime or not. Here's what I do know. When you go after the most powerful companies in the land, and when you go over the most powerful people, for years, way before Donald Trump was president. Michael Avenatti was going after Donald Trump. Michael Avenatti didn't break the law in doing that, but as I said before, when you go after the most powerful people and the most powerful businesses in the world, you better not have skeletons in your closet. I don't know if Michael Avenatti committed a crime or not. It appears in this Nike case, I don't think they're going to find him guilty. But what does it boil down to here? It boils down to the jurors. If the jurors are biased and they think this guy's a scumbag, and even though they keep it quiet,
I don't think that even makes a difference here. I'm surprised there's a jury involved in this because clearly he had a client and he was negotiating on that client's behalf. Did he want the largest settlement? Of course, so did Nicholas Salmon's attorney. What separates the two? Again, it would be different if he was just kind of a whistleblower, if you will, who got this information, who would be literally threatening to extort Nike out of a bunch of money, or they would give this information to the public. So I don't think that a jury should even matter. The judge is going to realize. Obviously, this guy was representing his client, and he's trying to get the biggest possible settlement like any other attorney in the United States would do.
Well, I hope so, but it's the people out there that go after Michael Avenatti, the people that create fake social media accounts and have nothing better to do with their time than to call this guy the creepy porn lawyer. Tucker Carlson, by the way, is a complete scumbag. So is Laura Ingraham. They're the ones that, it's really interesting to me because the evil racist witch in Laura Ingraham didn't mention Kobe Bryant on her show once last week. Not once. But she has no problem talking about Michael Avenatti. Same thing with Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, that's very surprising considering she attacked Nipsey Hussle and a couple of other African-American athletes.
Well, that's why I call her evil.
I mean, the fact that she didn't mention Kobe, are you
sure?
She didn't.
Yes, I am.
Not one,
yes, I am.
Not one time?
Sean Hannity did. There are people on Fox News that covered it.
Then I think it's hard to argue that Laura Ingram's not. I would say she's probably racist.
She is. Shut up and dribble, right?
She probably is racist.
Shut up and dribble. And by the way,
Most likely.
it was Kobe Bryant. When he received his Oscar, Kobe Bryant is the one that a cheap shot at Laura Ingraham, which I agree with 100%. He said the shut up and dribble comment.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved him for that. And, I'm not a big LeBron James guy. We're going to talk about that coming up next segment. I'll give you my reasons why. But, the fact that some on Fox News, and by the way, the day of Kobe Bryant lost his life and his 13-year-old daughter and 7 others, they decided to play a pre-recorded show of Mark Levin, not mentioning Kobe once. To me, that is utterly disgusting. CNN didn't do that. MSNBC didn't do that. All the networks, even ABC National, broke into the normally scheduled programming and covered Kobe Bryant. I'm not saying you do that now. I'm not saying you do that even a day after. But the night of for Fox News to do that is disgusting. And the fact that Laura Ingraham every day does her show on a national platform, same thing with Tucker Carlson, and they chose not to even cover this Kobe Bryant tragedy, but yet every single day they'll talk about people like Michael Avenatti and attack him. They'll talk about the Shift Show. They'll go politics every single day. What does that say about people like that? Well, I have my ideas on that, and that's why I call Laura Ingraham the evil, racist witch that hides behind the cross she wears on her neck. She is an awful human being. All she cares about is one thing, ratings and money. She doesn't care about doing the right thing. And I'll say the same thing about Tucker Carlson, and it was literally a week after 22 people lost their lives in Texas, El Paso, and Tucker, white privilege Carlson, is the one that said the idea of white supremacy is a hoax. Because these are bad people. I believe Tucker Carlson to be a really bad person. I believe Laura Ingraham to be a really bad person. I've met Sean Hannity. I don't always agree with his politics, but I think he's a nice guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. And by the way, Sean Hannity covered the Kobe Bryant stuff. He talked about it. And it showed that, Sean's not a bad guy. These people like Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, they're just horrible human beings. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, speaking of Kobe Bryant, there's a big tribute to him. LeBron James did it when the Lakers played their first home game since the tragedy. My criticism of LeBron going forward, I'll explain that. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
The only FM news talk station in the Valley. 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
School shooting. Pressure on Biden. I'm Mike Moss. A lockdown on the campus of Texas A&M Commerce. Students and staff are being told to shelter in place while police conduct what is reported to be an active criminal investigation inside a dormitory. An email sent to students reports that 3 people have been shot, 2 killed. All classes have been canceled throughout the day. A passenger aboard a Greyhound bus opened fire early this morning on the road in Southern California. Brian Pennings with the California Highway Patrol.
I do not have a motive for you. I don't have any other information as to why this occurred. Like I said, we're interviewing all of the witnesses and putting all the pieces of the puzzle together.
We do know a woman from Colombia was killed and 5 others wounded. The suspected gunman is in custody. Both sides are making final arguments in the Senate impeachment trial. Chief Defense Attorney Pat Cipollone.
At the end of the day, this is an effort to overturn the results of one election and to try to interfere in the coming election that begins today in Iowa.
Lead House Trial Manager Adam Schiff.
Donald Trump has betrayed his oath to protect and defend the Constitution. But it is not too late for us to honor ours, to wield our power to defend our democracy.
Later today, senators may be given an opportunity to speak on the floor and explain their position on either acquittal or conviction of the president. Democrat Joe Biden says electing him would be like a third term for Barack Obama, telling NBC's Today Show.
I see it as moving on from what we started. I think, look, one of the reasons I run is because of my experience. Who's going to be ready on day one to pick up the phone and call any world leader, and they know who he is and he knows who they are?
The Iowa caucus is set to begin in 2 hours. On Wall Street, the Dow up 169. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Indeed.com. Watch for slowing for a crash reported on the 95 southbound at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. A traffic hazard was reported on Sahara at Las Vegas Boulevard. That may be debris on the roadway, and an accident reported at Flamingo at Sand Hill Road. No delays to report on the Southern Beltway east side or west side inbound. Indeed knows your company's roadmap to success starts with hiring first-rate employees. Visit Indeed.com/hire today and try tailored solutions to help discover the best people for your business. I'm John Michaels from the KDAW Traffic Center.
Get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their New Year sale.
Hi, it's David Masters. Join me and my brother Alan for Advice Line, 10 to midnight Monday through Friday right here on 720 KDAWN and on 101.5 FM. That's Advice Line, America's live radio counseling program. If you've got problems, we've got your answers. Monday through Friday, 10 to midnight.
This is Lorraine Hunt Bono, inviting you to tune in for Breaking Bread with Bono. Join my husband, Dennis Bono, as celebrities share with him their intimate and humorous stories. Saturdays, 5 to 6 p.m., right here on KDAWN.
Travis Scribner, managing partner of Westpac Wealth Partners, interviews some of the most successful business owners for insight into what makes both them and their business run. Tune in every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDAWN, or podcasts on iTunes.
Finally ready for a year you can remember? Let 2020 be the year you finally regain control of your drinking without having to quit completely. Meet LifeBack, a physician-approved, completely private, personalized plan for kicking problem drinking to the curb. Using a combination of medication, proven in clinical studies to reduce the urge to overdrink in 92% of people, and in-app coaching and support tools, LifeBack makes drinking a choice rather than a habit or need. Every aspect of your LifeBack plan is managed on our mobile app from the privacy of your phone, and medication is delivered discreetly to your doorstep without the need for in-person doctor appointments. Start the LifeBack program now and treat yourself to a 2020 full of sharper focus, better health, saved money, and stronger relationships while still enjoying moderate drinking. Visit lifebac.com or call 888-959-8858 today to learn more. That's lifebac.com or call 888-959-8858 today. Call Life Back today at 888-959-8858.
Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, taking Nevadans to Capitol Hill for the latest on the federal issues that matter most to you.
Eye on Washington, Saturday morning at 9:30 on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us. Also have Chris Wynn in studio as well. You know, it's amazing. It was 8 days ago that we lost 9 people in that tragic helicopter crash. And, you know, I'm having trouble calling it an accident. It could have easily been prevented. And, yes, many accidents could be prevented. But it's wrongdoing, quite frankly. You know, when somebody goes through a stop sign, somebody goes through a red light, sure, you call it an accident. But it's a preventable accident. And that's exactly what took place here. As we learn more information about this horrific crash that took place, Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, Gigi, and 7 others, we're learning that the pilot should have never been up there. Just call it for what it is. The helicopter was not equipped to fly in those conditions, and the pilot was not equipped to fly in those conditions. And we're learning more information that basically speaks to if anybody suffered. Well, here's what we're learning, and it's very sad. The NTSB is saying that when the helicopter hit the hill there, the helicopter was still intact, meaning it didn't go into pieces or anything, and then it had to drop 1,000 feet. Now, I'm no scientist here, but dropping 1,000 feet, even in a helicopter, takes a few seconds, maybe 5 seconds, maybe 6 seconds. I don't know. What I think it is fair to say at this point is after they hit that hill, there's a good chance that they were still alive. And the helicopter was intact. That's what the NTSB is saying. The helicopter exploded not on impact with the hill, but on impact when they hit the ground. Again, it was a 1,000-foot drop. So the reports that I've heard, and I don't know if they're true or not. It wouldn't surprise me if they're true. I did see one photo that has since been removed from the internet, but it's a photo I saw of what appears to be Kobe Bryant's dead body holding on to his daughter. I don't know. It hasn't been verified. But that would not shock me one bit. Those are obviously gruesome details, but it goes to show you that to the last second, Kobe was protecting his daughter, which is what he did with his entire family. But I want to speak a little bit about, and that's the latest on the investigation, and we'll learn more as it goes on, but it appears to me that the pilot, you know, it was wrongdoing on his part. Should have never happened in the first place. It's a horrible tragedy that was preventable. With that being said, the company that owns those helicopters has grounded all of their choppers, and they are probably going to be out of business. There's going to be lawsuits. It's not going to bring anybody back. On another sad note, Kobe Bryant's wife, I think this is a good thing. If you see the memorial and all the jerseys and the candles and the stuffed animals and everything that has been right outside the Staples Center, Kobe Bryant's wife has asked for all those items, which I think is great because everyone that wrote on the board and wrote thoughts and prayers with the family and all the other nice notes, Kobe's wife, Vanessa, is going to be getting all that stuff, except for the flowers, and even the flowers are going to be planted outside the Staples Center. So I think that's great. I think the way they're handling it is great, and I think Vanessa deserves all that stuff because it shows the outpouring of love and support for people all over the world are going to miss Kobe, of course, his daughter, and the 7 others. So that's certainly a good thing. So LeBron James and the Lakers had a game against the Portland Trail Blazers on Friday night.
Well, the first game back.
Yeah, it was the first game back, and they canceled the game, the Lakers and the Clippers, which I thought was the appropriate thing to do. Going into the game, I didn't think there was any chance that the Lakers were going to lose, and because I thought they were going to win the game for Kobe. And I understand the Trailblazers are one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They're a very good playoff team, and I also understand that Damian Lillard is one of the hottest players in the NBA. Well, the Blazers just went in there, and they just took care of business, man. I'm sorry, but if you're LeBron James and the Lakers, I know how difficult and emotional that game must have been. You have to win that game.
No, I disagree. Look, it's the basketball secondary, though, Brian, right? And we're going to get into why the basketball is secondary. The fact that they played the game, yeah, obviously it was get back to work kind of thing. It was, get your frame of mind back where you can get onto a basketball court and be competitive. But it was absolutely second nature as far as the outcome of the game.
All right, well, I'm telling you right now, if Michael Jordan lost his life and it was a night where Kobe Bryant and his team was honoring Michael Jordan in any way, shape, or form, I believe Kobe would have won the game. But anyway, that's here nor there. I want to get to LeBron James' comments. These were LeBron James' comments, speaking from the heart here before the game started in front of everybody in the arena at Staples Center. Here it is.
Now, I got something written down. They asked me to kind of stay on course or whatever the case may be, but Laker Nation, man, I would be selling y'all short if I read off this, so I'm going to go straight from the heart.
All right, I think it's good to speak from the heart. I don't have a problem with that. But here's going on, and it seemed like he was speaking a little bit about himself included with Kobe Bryant. Here's where I have a little bit of a problem with LeBron James' comments. Play that clip.
Kobe is a brother to me, and from the time I was in high school to watching him afar, to getting in this league at 18, watching him up close, all the battles that we had throughout my career, the one thing that we always shared is that determination to just want to win and just want to be great. And the fact that I'm here now means so much to me. I want to continue along with my teammates to continue his legacy, not only for this year, but as long as we can play the game of basketball that we love, because that's what Kobe Bryant will want.
All right, so here's my thoughts on that. I have no doubt that LeBron James, this is a very difficult time for him. I know that he was fairly close to Kobe, and I don't doubt that for 1 second. And LeBron James, in opening up his school, he's done some good things for charity. My personal opinion is LeBron James will never be Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has touched far more people than LeBron James has. With that being said, LeBron is going to go down as one of the best players of all time. But I don't want to hear, this is just my personal opinion, I don't want to hear before a Lakers game about LeBron James' battles on the court with Kobe Bryant. I don't want to hear about that. I also don't want to hear about his determination to win along with Kobe Bryant's determination to win. This isn't about LeBron James. I also don't want to hear about, well, I'm here now. This isn't about you, LeBron. This is about Kobe. Now, if you want, hold on, if you want to talk about, you know, I got to start playing basketball because of Kobe Bryant. I met Kobe Bryant at this point in my career. This is what he meant to me. That's great. I just didn't like it. And I thought it was a little short. It was like 4 minutes. And I'm sorry, I'm not a LeBron James guy. I'm just not.
Clearly.
It's clear about that.
Last time I checked, LeBron's not a monologist. You know, he's not going to go on a 10 to 15 minute monologue. That's not going to take place.
Why not?
Because he's not a monologist.
Why not?
Like I said, that's just not. He's not good at that type of stuff.
What do you mean? What do you mean? He talks all the time.
He's not for 15 minutes about a subject. He's not a public speaker.
What are you talking about?
Those
He
respect.
speaks to the media for 30 minutes a day.
About something different. He's not getting paid $1 million per appearance like a Bill Clinton, for example.
This isn't about money. You're supposed to be speaking from the heart.
My thoughts on this are: you expect perfection, clearly,
no, I
consistently.
don't want. Okay.
Now that being said,
no, I don't. That's ridiculous.
Are you gonna let me finish?
But you're making ridiculous claims. Did you hear
Brian,
Tracy McGrady talk about him? Did you hear Shaquille talk about him?
You clearly expect perfection, Brian.
No, I don't.
LeBron James is a Laker now, right? He is the face of the Los Angeles Lakers. He is taking the torch from Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. LeBron James, what he did there was he validated himself as to why he's the one up there making the speech about Kobe Bryant, why it wasn't Phil Jackson, why it wasn't one of the buses, why it wasn't someone who owned the Lakers. That's why LeBron James made the speech that he did, and I have no issue with that whatsoever, what he said.
Okay, well, hold on a second. You said perfect. Okay, Shaq.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I have no issue with this.
Can I talk?
This didn't go this
All right.
way. This didn't go this way. I expected to go this way. Oh, this was it was a 60 instead of a 95. Like that. That's how you operate with a lot of different subjects.
You're judging the speech that was made off the cuff, Brian.
You were critiquing his speech.
Yes, I am. Okay, first of all, Shaquille O'Neal had a very volatile relationship with Kobe Bryant. Hasn't spoken to him in 3 years. Did you see the way Shaq talked about Kobe?
He's a different guy. Shaq's a different guy than LeBron is.
Let me finish. Did you see the way Derek Fisher talked about LeBron James? Did you see the way Tracy McGrady talked about?
Again,
Brian, they're coming at it from a different perspective.
These guys
let me ask you a question.
They're not playing the game currently. They're out of the league. LeBron James is still in the league. He plays for the team that Kobe. That's why they're there, to watch the basketball game. They want to watch the Lakers. LeBron James plays for the Lakers, Brian.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
And that's why he was validated why he's making this speech right now, because he had a lot of battles against Kobe Bryant, and clearly he said that Kobe Bryant inspired him. I'm not a huge LeBron James guy either, but I have no problem with what he did.
Okay, well, he said he swore, and then he said, I want to speak from the heart. And he said,
chucked the notes away.
Okay, and he said he wanted to get the names right. That's fine. I got no problem with that. I think that warranted more than a 4-minute speech. I didn't want to hear about his personal battles with Kobe in his career. I didn't want to hear about how he's here in L.A. now. I didn't want to hear about how me and Kobe are great, because that's what he said.
Brian, you just pointed that out in a 4-minute diatribe, right? Like before we just talked about this. Yes, we understand that's your personal opinion, but we also have a perspective also, and our perspective is that once you throw the notes away, you're going to have some type of leeway if you're LeBron James.
And
you're
not
going to
only
be going,
that-
he's speaking from the heart. He was
4
speaking
minutes?
from the heart. And so he was basically,
4
it was a
minutes?
situation where he was talking. Yes, obviously he's going
4
to
minute
reflect
speech.
on his relationship with him and Kobe because he's coming from his own personal perspective. It wasn't a situation where LeBron was trying to focus on himself. He was talking about his relationship with Kobe Bryant.
Well, let me just say
and now
this.
that he is, and to JD's point, he is now the face of the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James is. That's why he was making the speech. That's why he was in that position, and he was doing it off the cuff. This wasn't something that was written down. So you got to give him a little bit of space on that.
And think about the form now. If this was at a funeral of some sort, and he started talking about basketball at a funeral, and talking about their battles, but before the Lakers game,
this isn't about basketball.
Of course it is. Well,
No, it's not.
Then why did it
Shouldn't have
happen?
been about
Then why did it happen right before a Lakers game?
Well, I'll answer that.
Why did they choose
I'll
the
answer
face of
that.
the Lakers
I'll answer
to
that.
give this to give this monologue, this very slight monologue
I'll answer that.
before the Lakers game?
That
Again,
was-
I would have an issue if it was in a different setting. This was
You
before the
asked
Lakers
me a question.
game
I'm trying
at
to
the
answer
Staples
it.
Center.
That was LeBron James' choice. He chose not to speak to the media. He chose to make a 4-minute speech. Let me just say this. Some of Jason Stein, our producer, some of his visits to massage parlors have lasted longer than LeBron James and his speech right before that basketball game.
So
Hold on, let me
basically, JD,
finish.
Brian's critiquing the guy's off-the-cuff speech
Let me
that
finish.
he made on the court.
Let me finish and
as
let me
being
be
too short.
The basketball
right?
player.
That's what you're doing.
Right.
So let me finish.
Not
and let
the
me,
actor.
I'll let you.
The basketball player.
Yeah, you can
let
respond.
Me,
Gotcha.
let me finish and let me be clear on this
Okay.
and my opinion to LeBron James. I've said it before. He has not touched as many lives as Kobe did, number one. Number two.
It's not a
if we're just-
competition between
number,
LeBron and
Number
Kobe.
two, if we're just...
So Brian, it
You're
is.
talking about a competition
Okay,
like between two
LeBron-
players. It's not.
Brian's creating.
are you gonna let me finish?
He's creating an artificial competition.
But you're
between
saying
LeBron
things
and
that
Kobe.
are going to be we're responding to, Brian. When you're saying
not
that,
letting
it's
me
not
finish.
necessarily
Okay,
the point.
He compared himself to Kobe. He compared himself. He talked about the battles they had. He talked about how they're both great.
That's not
He
comparing.
wasn't using a competition. He wasn't comparing the two
No, there's no
players.
comp- there's no
Okay,
comparing.
but
That's not what his intention was.
Well, let me compare them.
He was
Okay.
explaining where his respect from Kobe Bryant comes from.
Okay, so let me compare them. Let me be very clear on this. This is my opinion.
Let me
Be clear,
Let
please.
me be clear.
From a basketball perspective, LeBron James will never beat Kobe Bryant. Okay, if for people out there that you want to put LeBron over Kobe, I could not disagree with you more. That's number one. Okay, number two, he will never have the legacy that Kobe Bryant had. Never.
That's not. It's not about the competition. It's not about who has a bigger legacy or is more
I'm
important.
telling you,
That's not what it's about.
I'm trying to get through a list of the reasons why I don't respect LeBron as much as Kobe Bryant. You guys aren't allowing me to get through it.
But we're talking
okay?
about a speech that he made off the cuff on the court to tribute to Kobe Bryant, and you're making this about some huge thing as far as whose legacy's bigger, and LeBron's not
I don't
respecting
like
Kobe's
it.
legacy or something.
Brian
right?
is saying that LeBron James was trying to steal the spotlight from Kobe Bryant.
I think he is
That-
exactly.
that's
I
what
think
he's saying.
That is kind of in essence what you are saying, Brian.
And I don't think that's what happened. I think that LeBron's
And
respect
making it about him, right?
LeBron's respect for Kobe originates from the basketball court, and that's what he was explaining.
But I think Brian's trying to insinuate that LeBron James was making it about him
like
on
he
the
was-
court,
like he was
and that
hi-
is
like
not
he-
the case.
like
That's
he
not
was
the impression,
hijacking.
Brian, that I got in that short speech that LeBron James made on the court in a tribute to LeBron James off the cuff.
Like I said from the beginning, I do believe that he was being genuine. Like I said from the beginning, I do believe that he had a personal relationship with Kobe. I was very disappointed by his speech. When I see former players that have spoken off the cuff as well, without any speeches in front of them, I respected it. I thought they did a much better job. What I'm trying to tell you is that I didn't think LeBron James, being the face of basketball right now, did a very good job in that moment. I understand he was emotional. I wanted to see a little bit of that more emotion from him. I didn't want to hear about basketball. I thought it was important. If you want to talk about how he got into the league because of Kobe, that's fine. If you want to talk about their relationship over the years, even battles, fine. I didn't think 4 minutes did Kobe Bryant justice. I'm not saying he should have taken 25 minutes. All I'm simply saying is that I was disappointed with that 4-minute speech, and I thought he could have done a much better job. I also don't like it when he said, well, they told me to be on point, but basically F this. Maybe it would have been better if he did read something, because I was disappointed with the speech. And again, as far as legacy goes, nobody will ever convince me, ever, that LeBron will ever surpass Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a killer on the court. Yes, he got to the league early. It took him a few years to get his feet underneath him. Kobe Bryant, to me, is right there next to Michael Jordan as two of the best basketball players to ever play the game. LeBron will never be there. He could never shoot. I'm going back to basketball for a second. and I just don't like the comparisons. I don't like it.
You're 100% go back to basketball. If you're talking about the legacies
don't
in
like
the
it.
game
Right,
of basketball.
and Brian,
hey, I think the JD, it's established. I think Shapiro's a little bit of a LeBron hater here, right?
Which is
let me
fine.
tell you
And I-
something.
and
No,
I-
hold
and
on
I-
a second,
I agree.
guys.
I agree
Let me
with
tell
lot
you.
of
Hold
what
on a
LeBron
second,
said.
guys. Hold on a second, okay? Let me tell you a story real quickly. And the second I stopped rooting for LeBron James, okay? I was at USA Basketball. They were practicing in USA Basketball at Valley High School. I was in that gym. There were only 20 people there. I saw them scrimmaging against each other. It was great. I saw 20 underprivileged kids in the YMCA, and they went up to Kobe Bryant. They waited there for 2 hours just to meet Kobe Bryant. Not only did he sign autographs and take pictures with every single kid in that gym, but he actually spoke to them like he was their own kids. Hey, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? He actually cared. Not only did LeBron James not do that, but he walked right past every single one of them onto the team bus. The second I saw that, and by the way, it wasn't like he had to get anywhere. They were all getting on the same bus. That showed me character. Now, I do believe 10 years ago, LeBron James is probably a little bit of a different person now than he was 10 years ago, and that's fine. But to me, that's not an excuse. To me, that's character. 18-year-old Kobe Bryant, as cocky as he was, and he admitted he was cocky, still would not have done that. He was always great to his fans. I don't think LeBron James is as good to his fans. I think LeBron James at times is extremely selfish.
They also
I've
come
said
from
that a
different
lot.
places. They come from LeBron James came from a broken home. Kobe Bryant's dad was in the NBA.
Kobe Bryant doesn't talk to his parents. He doesn't talk to his
I'm
parents.
saying he didn't come from the situation. LeBron James was extremely poor. Kobe Bryant had money when he was growing up.
What does money have to do with doing the right thing?
I'm just saying they come from different cultures. LeBron
What does
James.
that have to do with walking past 20 kids and not signing on? Come on, they're all going.
I'm saying LeBron James has a chip on his shoulder. Kobe Bryant does not.
You don't think Kobe Bryant had a chip on his
I don't
shoulder?
think he had a chip on his shoulder. I think.
Name me one person that has more of a chip on their shoulder in their career than Kobe Bryant. He was one of the best trash talkers in the history of the game.
That doesn't mean
he wanted to be number one.
That doesn't mean he had a chip on his shoulder. It means he had an aspiration to be the best.
You don't think Kobe conducted himself like he had a chip on his shoulder?
I don't think Kobe Bryant had a chip on his shoulder. And I agree with you. I think on the court, Kobe Bryant stayed with the same team for 20 years. He played with terrible players. He didn't ask to be traded. He didn't ask to get talent around. LeBron James has gone to 3 different teams, and he's basically begged. He said, I need a big 3 to win a championship.
Exactly.
Kobe Bryant he would never kick out a coach because he didn't like him. LeBron James did that. And
that's character.
And that's fine. And I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is LeBron James, in this particular speech, did nothing wrong.
Let's take a quick phone call. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, 257-5396. Let's go to Dylan. Dylan, you're next up on the Vegas tape.
Hey, Brian and the boys. I would implore you to look on YouTube tonight and see Randy Moss's condolences and thoughts of Kobe Bryant. And I agree with him. And as he chokes up and tears up, as we all felt the same way for this lovely father and player, Kobe Bryant, when you see him adrenalized in his greatest moments in the game, and he's sweating and his teeth are gnashing, one-on-one, he could whoop ass on LeBron or Michael Jordan.
Agree.
And if you doubt me, you got to see Randy.
Dylan, I don't doubt you at all. In fact, I agree with you, and that's why I put Kobe right next to Michael Jordan. If he's not, if he's not the greatest,
I'm not going to try to not hurt Michael Jordan's feelings anymore. He's an icon.
Well, Dylan, let me just say this. I agree, Dylan. And by the way, it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in talking about Michael Jordan said cares more about humanitarian issues or cares more about Nike than humanitarian issues. We're taking your phone calls at 702-257-5396. Again, that number 257-5396 if you'd like to join the program.
But going back to your story, Brian, is Dylan still there, by the way, on the phone lines? Is he still there?
No.
Okay, well, going back to your story, Brian, that you told about LeBron James, it is safe to say, right, that you do now have, after you told that story, as far as USA Basketball and, the reception with the kids, you do have a preset opinion as far as LeBron James going into the situation, right? Is that not right?
You definitely have a bias.
Yes. He has you have a preset view
based on
of
personal
LeBron
experience.
James from personal experience that is a negative connotation.
Well,
with respect to LeBron James.
Listen, I've had personal experiences. I've seen LeBron and I've seen Kobe. I've interviewed Kobe over a dozen times. I've been around them, not as much as I would have liked to have been, but around them enough to see their mannerisms. And
but you understand my point. As far as
I do, 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Michael. Michael, you're next up on the Vegas take. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Michael here again, long-time listener and caller.
Thank you.
Just a couple things. Just a question for you, Brian. Only you can answer this. I don't know, because it sounds like you have some type of disgruntlement with LeBron. So maybe
I do.
That might have been.
I do. I do. Here's why. And I gave you my
Right.
story. All right, go ahead, Michael.
No, I heard your story.
Yep.
And I appreciate the respect. I don't mean to cut you off. I just know your story.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Reference to speech, I think we got to give him the benefit of the doubt. It was a good speech for what he did in the moment. The mitigating circumstances there, it's before a game, adrenaline pumping. He's missing Kobe, adrenaline pumping. He's hurting, adrenaline pumping. So he did the best he could and with what he had at the time. I think if the situation was setting and different, like in a press conference that had calmed down after a game, I think you would have got what you wanted to hear.
I totally agree.
I mean, perhaps, Michael, but here was my problem. Michael, here was my problem with the speech. I don't want to hear about how they're both great. I don't want to hear about their battles on the court. I don't want to, when you're speaking and if you only have 5 minutes to talk, I don't want to hear about, well, you're here in LA now and this and that. This shouldn't have been about LeBron James. If you want to.
You know what I heard? You know what I heard when I heard LeBron say that? LeBron is a confident person. He knows how good he is. And for him to say that somebody he had a battle with on the court is him giving the utmost respect to his opponent.
Exactly.
I think that's how I saw it, honestly.
All right, well, I'm just saying that I was a little bit disappointed in the speech, and I see these other guys like Derek Fisher, Shaq, Tracy McGrady, a lot of players
but these guys aren't suiting up before games.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does matter because they're on. But Brian, they're on the basketball court, right? About to play a basketball game. Both of these players, so much of their identity is wrapped up in the game of basketball. So, yes, if it was, let's put it this way, Brian. If it was LeBron James, say 2 or 3 days earlier in his regular clothes, doing a press conference talking about, obviously, talking about Kobe Bryant, you'd expect more human type stuff.
Let me ask another
You'd
question.
expect more day-to-day stuff. But before a basketball game, he's going to talk about basketball.
All right, well, let's talk
aspects,
about that. Michael, let me ask you a question. Did you think LeBron James played with a ton of heart Friday night?
He looked like he played hurting, to be honest with you.
Well, my opinion,
it's tough.
The whole team probably played that way, right?
And dude, Damian Lillard dropped 48. He had 48, 10, and 9
that's
with
the
one
Lakers.
turnover.
That's because they didn't play any defense.
No, that's because Damian Lillard's had the best 6-game stretch in the history of the NBA, Brian.
Watch that game again and tell me the Lakers played good
defense. Damian Lillard's on his way to be the MVP. He did the same thing to the Jazz, who have a better defense than the Lakers the next game.
Michael, I appreciate the phone call.
Yeah, good
Thank
call,
you.
Michael.
Listen, I'll make this comparison again. If Michael Jordan, or let's just say, God forbid, Kevin Durant lost his life, and the Lakers' next game was in Oklahoma City when he was playing in Oklahoma City. Right. And I can tell you right now, if Kobe made a speech, they wouldn't have lost that game. It would have been in honor of one of his fallen comrades. And listen, that's all I'm saying.
Well, it's complete speculation, though.
No,
we don't know how the players are going to react.
It's an opinion.
You guys just talked about what happened with both the Blazers and the Lakers. The Lakers' proximity to this is much closer than the Portland Trail Blazers. Michael, the caller, just pointed out how he thought that LeBron James was hurting. I'm sure every other Laker player was hurting. They were so close. Kobe Bryant was a player for the Lakers. The Portland Trail Blazers approach was not the same as the Lakers that night on Friday.
Kobe was L.A.
Exactly.
I mean, he was sports in L.A. for
LeBron
the better
James
part
will never be LA.
of 2 decades, and that's fine. That doesn't make a difference. But right now, he is the face of the Los Angeles Lakers. He was handed the torch by Kobe Bryant, and he did just pass Kobe Bryant's scoring record, for Christ's sake. So, yeah, why would he not make that speech and discuss a lot of why he has the respect for what he has for Kobe from all the on-the-court situations they've been involved in.
Okay, so we got to take a break. I never said he shouldn't have made the speech. I never said that. I thought that the speech could have been a little bit longer. I thought that he could have done a better job. I never said he shouldn't have made the speech.
LeBron Poppins.
So I was just disappointed in the speech, and I think as all Laker fans, you know that the team is going through a lot, but that should have been a game that you should have won for Kobe Bryant. I hope they do win the championship. I speak as a Celtics fan, and I hope the Lakers win the championship this year in honor of Kobe Bryant. I really do feel that way, and I hope LeBron certainly plays better moving forward. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Gerard Gallant making some comments about the surprising firing by the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll talk about that coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
Fox tonight. Over 24 million viewers have made 911 Lone Star TV's #1 news show.
911, what's your emergency?
And this week, it's gonna blow.
It's a tornado, Teddy. I'm scared.
You
What is happening?
away.
Good God.
Get out of there now! Then
If you haven't seen the fall's biggest show, Prodigal Son, this one will get you hooked.
We got a bomb! If we trip any of these wires, he dies.
New 911 Lone Star and Prodigal Son. Fox tonight.
A dormitory shooting on the campus of Texas A&M Commerce, just north of Dallas. An email sent to students by campus police says 3 people have been shot, 2 killed. The school has been placed on lockdown and people are being told to shelter in place. Police say the shootings happened in a freshman dormitory known as Pride's Rock. Ken Starr is one of the president's defense lawyers making final arguments today in the Senate impeachment trial.
Your vote in the last election is hereby declared null and void. And by the way, we're not going to allow you, the American people, to sit in judgment on this president and his record.
Senators are expected to take to the floor this afternoon and offer their reasoning to either acquit or convict the president in a vote scheduled for Wednesday. On Wall Street, stocks are up, the Dow up about 140. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Watch for slowing for a crash reported on Flamingo Road eastbound east of I-15. Also an accident reported on Blue Diamond at Rainbow Boulevard. And a traffic hazard to watch for at Flamingo at Wallop Highway that may be debris on the roadway. No delays to report I-15 north of southbound between the Spaghetti Bowl and Southern Beltway. The weather gets better and the commute gets easier when you love where you live. The team at Rocket Mortgage knows that, and they can help make your dream of home ownership a reality. Rocket Mortgage. Push button, get mortgage. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Listen to the Texas Corners Bible Church every Saturday night at 11 p.m. and Sunday night at 10 p.m. on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
If your retirement plan is on set it and forget it, it's time to take control. Tune in for Financial Safari with America's Wealth Coach and best-selling author, Coach Pete DeRuda. For more than 25 years, Coach Pete has been helping people just like you plan for retirement. Join Coach Pete every week as he discusses topics like why your retirement plan should also be an income plan, and how to make sure you're getting the most out of your 401k.
Financial Safari with Coach Pete, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday afternoon at 2 on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
V is for victory, except on Saturdays when V is for veterans. That's Veterans Talk, The Forgotten Promise. Join us every Saturday from noon to 1.
Veterans Talk every Saturday at noon on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
When you're diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer,
a lot of questions run through your mind.
What am I going to do? What are my options? What did I do wrong? We've had those thoughts too.
But some questions can help you move forward.
Visit findyourmbcvoice.com for an interactive guide to help you learn the next steps to take after an MBC diagnosis.
And how to ask the questions that lead to an open and informed conversation with your doctor.
Start finding your voice today
at findyourmbcvoice.com.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Glad you could join us. By the way, tomorrow on the show, we are going to be going over this Iowa caucusing. We're going to find out what's doing Joe Biden. Pretty much between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders at this point as far as the caucus is concerned. I don't know why some of these people are still on the stage. I don't know why Amy Klobuchar is still there. I just don't get it. But anyway, we'll go over that tomorrow on the program. I want to talk a little bit about the Vegas Golden Knights. We don't talk about the Knights on a daily basis, but certainly we've been talking them a lot about them lately. They've been winning some hockey games. I believe they're 3-1-1 under the new head coach. And I think a lot of us were very surprised that Gerard Gallant, most of us, 99% of us, were surprised that Gallant was fired.
The word shock comes into play, right?
Absolutely.
When he was let go. And I believe the Vegas Golden Knights are going to play a home game somewhere in August, right? I think August 1st or 2nd is going to be the next Golden Knights home game.
It's been a little while.
It's been a little while. Brian, since they let Gerard Gallant go and hired Peter DeBoer, they have not been home yet. They haven't played a home game.
And they're
It's kind of crazy.
And they're 3-1-1.
Yeah.
They're winning.
It's been a little bizarre. But anyway, Gallant sat down with Fox 5 and did an interview with them. And here's his some of his comments. He started out by saying how the team broke the news to him. Here it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got a call like usually happens, and went to their room, and they just said we're going to go in a different direction. And I was a little surprised. Obviously, I didn't think that was going to happen. When I came in there, I thought we were going to talk about something different, you know. And so when I heard the news, it was really disappointing because, like I said, I had 2.5 years. That was every day was great. We had a great team. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed what I was doing. I enjoyed the organization. So, but I was surprised, and then I get disappointed, and then you're tough. So you go through those stages.
So what do you guys think of that?
I think that, yes, it was surprising because it was basically very similar to the way that he was let go in Florida with the Panthers, where he's on the road and you find out about it in that type of scenario. But as we pointed out, all three of us, when this actually happened, we talked about it, absolutely was shocked. And I was shocked the way that the Vegas Golden Knights handled it because, A, you have Kelly McCrimmon saying that based on performance was the reason the coaching change was made. And I don't know how you square that circle logically, guys, right? If you talk about performance and Gerard Gallant, given this is a franchise that's 2+ years old, they have a remarkable season in year one. They're a team that's over 500 in year two, and of course go to the playoffs and lose in dramatic fashion. And then, of course, this season, they still were a team that was over 500. Now, I get it. Okay, there were losing streaks. There were points in the season where they were, you know, in the doldrums, and there was concerns about where the direction the team was going. But to say that it's about production, I think absolutely coded over the real reason, guys, why this happened. And I don't think it's at any stretch of the imagination to think that there was some type of personal relationship regarding Gerard Gallant and either Kelly McCrimmon and or George McPhee that was really the culprit here as far as why Turk was let go as the head coach here.
I wasn't super surprised considering the fact that he did blow up on the reporter a couple weeks past. I talked to Brian a couple of times off air. I said, do you think they're actually going to fire Gallant? Because his reaction was that of someone who had some pressure. You don't react that way if someone asks you a question. Well, you know, you have a 6-14 record against teams over 500. You know, what did that attribute to? And he gets up and he just leaves the meeting.
All right, let me respond to that. I think that Gallant, throughout his entire career as a coach, has been a little bit touchy and sensitive.
He's never handled the media well.
I personally don't think that had anything to do with the fact that he actually thought he was going to be fired. Now, with that being said, obviously there was some friction going on between
I think that he
Gallant
and I don't think that one press conference had anything to do with him actually being let go.
No, but I think he was feeling pressure, and he handled that press conference like he handled conversations with the brass from above. But now my issue with how he was fired was when Kelly McCrimmon was asked, well, when did you start thinking about this? Oh, yeah, it just happened over 24 hours. Clearly they were thinking about it for quite some time.
The timeline was off, right?
Yeah, it was very, very off. And when you say something like that, it's like it's like you're taking the fans as stupid.
Nobody appreciates being lied to.
No one actually thinks that you just made a rash decision to fire Gerard Gallant, who in the first year of an ice sport in a desert city brought the Vegas Golden Knights to a Stanley Cup final. No one actually believes you made a rash decision like that in 24 hours, and no one wants to believe that the brass for their team and the Golden Knights fans that the ownership would make a decision that ridiculous in that short of a time frame. So that was really disappointing.
So Gallant also went on, and he was asked in this interview from Fox 5 if he has any idea why he was fired. Here's what he had to say to that.
It was bubbling? No, not really, no. Like I said, it was, I mean, obviously we had a 4-game losing streak. It wasn't good. We didn't play good hockey at all. Those 3 games at home, the last 3 games at home of that homestand they were bad. We didn't play well hockey. And then, the first game in the road in Buffalo, I thought we should have won the game, but didn't happen. But still, I thought, 4 games, we're going to move on, and we got to, we play in Ottawa the next night, and we'll get it back going here again. So that's what I sort of thought that morning was going to be about. Let's get it going here. Let's make sure we're playing better hockey than that. And when I found that it was they're going to let me go, I was disappointed and hurt.
All right, so let's be clear on this to start. Gallant is not a dumb guy. He's a smart guy. He knows he's going to be coaching in the NHL very soon. Again, I have no doubt about that. He also knows that this is a business, and he knows that it's not his place, and it would not help him if he bashed anybody. He's not going to come out and say, well, I had a terrible relationship with this person. I had a terrible relationship with that person. We never saw eye to eye. He's not going to, but I believe that's the case. But I believe he's too smart to answer a question like that because he doesn't want to tarnish his reputation moving forward because he wants a gig somewhere else. Make no mistake about it. This was a shock to everybody. There were obviously some issues within the organization. I never like to be lied to. You don't like to be lied to by anybody, especially an organization. There's no way this was a 24-hour decision. This absolutely was bubbling up a little bit. This absolutely was a decision that they did not make spur of the moment. I don't think any reasonable human being would believe that.
Let me bounce this off of both of you, okay? Because there is an astounding aspect to this that is something that has never been seen before. You, Brian, JD, myself, we have either been fans of sports and covered sports for a long time, okay? There has never been, that I can think of, a situation in the NBA, the NHL, the Major League Baseball, or the NFL where a team has fired a coach and then 5 seconds later you hire a coach who has been fired by your arch rival, okay? I mean, both of you guys, is there ever been a situation that you can think of in any sport, whether it's college, pro, whatever, where that's been the case, where a team, this is on par with the Boston Red Sox having a decent season, firing their manager, and then all of a sudden hiring somebody who got canned by the Yankees a couple months earlier,
especially considering
it doesn't happen.
How the playoff game last year when that major was called and it shouldn't have been called, and that literally caught, and that the Knights had that game stolen from them. And DeBoer didn't act like it was really a big deal, and Gallant had called him a clown after that took place. So I agree. It's almost like a swapping of the coaches between two arch rivals. And you're right. I cannot recall a specific situation like that.
Yeah, you can understand why I bring this up, right, guys? Because this is something that we haven't seen. So that kind of adds to it. And I know, and you guys, I'm sure will concur, the Vegas Golden Knights don't necessarily care what the fans think, right? They're going to make decisions. They're going to make decisions based on what they think is best for the team and to win a Stanley Cup.
Hold on. They wouldn't let members of the media even go into their practice facility the day they fired Gallant. So clearly they don't want the fans' voices to be heard. I think we all could agree on that one. But, hey, we'll continue to monitor this situation. We got to talk a little Raiders football. Is there any chance that Tom Brady is going to become the Raiders quarterback? It's unbelievable that we're even talking about this, but we are going to break it down. But before I do that, I have a giveaway. We always like to take care of our listeners here. We're going to take the fifth caller right now. A certificate for entry for two to the nation's largest CBD event, which is February 14th and the 15th at the Las Vegas Convention Center. That's right. 2 passes to the CBD USA Expo. Again, the nation's largest CBD event at the Las Vegas Convention Center. You're going to win your 2 passes right now. Give us a call, fifth caller, 702-257-5396. Again, fifth caller right now. You'll win a pair of passes to the nation's largest CBD event, Expo. It's going to be at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and it's February 14th and 15th. Again, fifth caller right now at 702-257-5396. You just scored yourself a pair of passes. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, is there any truth to the rumor that Tom Brady could be the Las Vegas Raiders, starting quarterback? We'll take a break, be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, K-Dawn.
Here is some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if you sign up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. It's the affordable alternative to health insurance, and it's worked beautifully for 25 years. They have more than 400,000 members now around the country. MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry, and over the years, members have shared over $3 billion of each other's medical bills, so they could help share your needs too. And best of all, you could save a lot of money with MediShare. The typical savings for a family is about $500 a month. Your savings could be more or less, but think about what you could do with that extra money every month. You're not stuck with a high-cost health plan. You can join MediShare anytime, so call them today and check it out. Here's the number to find out more, and there's no pressure. They are super easy to talk to. Call 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE. 844-91-BIBLE.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Imagine crossing a street busy with traffic. Against the light.
Watch where you're going!
Wearing a blindfold. Would you do this? Probably not. It's one risk obviously not worth taking. Some risks aren't as obvious, yet could be just as deadly, like the risk for type 2 diabetes. If you're overweight or over 45, if you're not very active, or don't eat as healthy as you should, there's an easy test you can take to find out your risk. It's free, and in less than a minute, you'll know if you're at risk for this deadly disease. Just go to diabetes.org/take-the-test or call 1-800-DIABETES. Because type 2 diabetes is one risk you can't afford to take. Take the diabetes risk test and stop diabetes before it stops you. A message from the American Diabetes Association.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. Sharp and Shapiro, it is the Vegas Take. C-Win joining us in studio as well. Will any of you be watching the caucusing tonight?
After your initial description at the top of the show, as far as what caucusing could possibly be determined as, I don't necessarily know if I'm too interested.
I don't know, man. It sounds pretty exciting
Listen,
to me.
I'm pretty sad now because you know why?
I'm tuning in.
JD and Brian, you know why I'm kind of sad? Because Brian brought up, of course, the AVN's Hard Rock Hotel here in Las Vegas, closed as of today. I believe 3 a.m. They stopped serving alcohol. The table games closed at 1 a.m. last night. No longer the Hard Rock Hotel here in town.
Very sad.
Just a little side point.
Very sad.
Yes.
But yeah, you know, maybe it'll be. I enjoyed all the memorabilia there. I've seen some great shows, but maybe it'll be bigger and better. We'll have to wait
Out
and
with
see
the
on
old,
it.
into the new, Brian, and
That's
of course
true.
the new. We're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. Also,
Speaking of the new, yes. So they are the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's amazing. It's right around the corner where they're going to be practicing here not too long from now. But we've heard these rumors circulating about Tom Brady. Did he or did he not buy property along near Red Rock? And now this mysterious Tom Brady post was a Hulu ad. Have a listen to this.
They say all good things must come to an end. So to my teammates, my family, and my fans, you deserve to hear this from me. Hulu doesn't just have live sports. According to the script they just gave me, Hulu also has your favorite cable channels plus the greatest shows, movies, and originals of all time. So it's time to say goodbye to TV as you know it. But me? I'm not going anywhere.
So you take that as you want. He's kind of toying with the fans a little bit to try to sell this Hulu product. But my opinion on this whole thing is he very well could stay in New England. We know that the relationship he has with management there couldn't be any better. With that being said, he did sell his home in Boston. And it could be one of those situations where he just wants to start fresh. He knows he might have 1 or 2 more years left in his career. I think it's the favorite right now as he stays in New England. I think second up before Vegas would be San Diego. And then
Los Angeles, Brian.
But I do think that there is a small chance. I would have said no chance a month ago. Now I'm saying there's a very small chance, less than 5% maybe, that he does become a Raider. He likes Las Vegas. Tom Brady has been seen at the Mayweather fights. He was just out here for the Conor McGregor fight. He enjoys Las Vegas.
he was talking to Mark Davis at the Conor McGregor fight.
He could also take a private jet for 45 minutes and get it from L.A. And he could still attend all the same stuff and not take the 6-hour flight from Boston to do it if he lives in L.A. I think he's a Charger. I think that he wants to go to a team.
You think he's more a Charger than a New England Patriot next year?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think he's done with New England.
You do?
Yeah, he's from California. His parents are getting older. His wife is a supermodel. The LA lifestyle makes sense for him. The Chargers have a very, very good offensive team around him. He's got a tight end. He's got Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. He's got the running back. He can walk into a situation and not have to make a lot of plays. He's going to have playmakers. With the Raiders, he's going to have Josh Jacobs, Tyrell Williams, Hunter Renfrow. They're going to have to maybe get an Antonio Brown type of player in free agency or draft 2 wide receivers. And the Patriots tried that last year. They drafted N'Keal Harry. You saw how that went. So I think that he ends up a Los Angeles Charger, and I love it. I think it's great for the NFL. I think it's great for LA, and I would not be shocked if they competed for a Super Bowl next year.
So the speculation is that he was searching for places along the Red Rock area there. But again, it's speculation.
Well, yeah,
so is that you don't think that's valid?
Well, whether it's valid or not, the real estate market in Las Vegas is going to keep going up, up, up. So buying a property here, a nice property, and just sitting on it and having a place to live in Las Vegas instead of having to go to the hotels, I mean, a lot of athletes do that. And then selling it in 5 to 10 years at 40 or 60% markup, that's just a smart investment. So I don't think that necessarily means that he is coming to Las Vegas to be a Raider.
And a quick note to you guys, for the last 48 hours on Boston Sports Radio, they've been reporting that Tom Brady and the New England Patriots apparently are willing to go as high as $30 million a year for a 42-year-old quarterback. So in my opinion, obviously JD talks about the Los Angeles Chargers, and Brian, you brought up the possibility of the Raiders here. In my opinion, I think that it's still the front runner is the team that he's been playing with his entire career. I think New England is still very much in the mix. It's intriguing, though, right, about the Las Vegas Raiders because, and JD pointed out the type of players that are going to play with him. But Nick Bogdanovich also pointed out early in the show, we're not getting that superstar quarterback anymore. We're getting a 42-year-old version of Tom Brady. And I don't necessarily know if that's an upgrade from a Derek Carr or some other possibilities out there at quarterback.
I absolutely think it is.
It's definitely an upgrade, but
really, 42?
I think so.
Derek Carr is not even close to an elite quarterback. Not even close.
But if he signs a year, let's say he signs a $33 million a year with the Patriots, how big is that cap hit? How much space does that take up to add to the roster? I mean, it would be a very, very similar roster to last year. Mohamed Sanu, maybe N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman. I don't think it makes sense.
Can I just add this
for him to, then so they'll probably lose some defensive talent. They'll probably lose a couple of offensive linemen. It doesn't make any sense from it. And you know what? He doesn't need that money. Together, him and Gasol are worth about $600 million.
He has a sugar mama, right?
He probably just got paid $10 million for this Hulu ad.
But guys, speaking of the Raiders, let's remember Derek Carr signed a 5-year, $125 million contract back in 2017. He was booed out of the Oakland Coliseum, the team's final game there, and fans were throwing trash and food on the field, which, by the way, I don't condone. Fans are they're getting a little fed up with Derek Carr. I think that's fair to say. I've said this 2 years ago. I didn't think he was ever going to be an elite quarterback. I just don't think he has what it takes. Is he not an NFL quarterback? No, I would never say that. Of course he's an NFL quarterback, but he's not in the higher echelon. I wouldn't even say he's even close to top 25% of all the quarterbacks in the league.
But Brian, I think from the Raiders' standpoint, though, I would think that, yes, this would be a win for them, right? They would absolutely want Tom Brady to be the quarterback because from a marketing standpoint,
huge publicity stunt.
a big splash coming to Las Vegas, it would be great for the Raiders. So
great for Vegas.
But, but from Tom Brady's perspective, that's kind of what you have to take a look at.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense for Brady to come just because of the personnel and this. And honestly, I think he'd look like crap in a Raiders jersey. I don't think he would look good. I think he would look better. It's gonna be hard to imagine.
Well, I'm taking
not in a Patriots
and Raider
jersey.
fan won't like it. Raider fan still remembers the Tuck rule. Raider fan is not. Any Raider fan that I've talked to about this, they would be irate to get Tom Brady on this team.
All right. Well, let me just from this perspective, let me just say I agree with Chris on this one. I disagree with you, JD.
That's fine.
I think the favorite is that he stays with New England, and that would not. I think that's the favorite.
He's only minus 200 right now.
Well, I'm going to say that he stays in New England. I think this is all. He wanted a bigger number. He got it. He got
leverage.
$30 million.
He got leverage,
He was trying to get leverage. Everybody tries to get leverage. Even Dave Rice, the former UNLV basketball coach, tried to get leverage when he wasn't winning.
The reason that he was getting paid what he was because he chose to take a pay cut to get there, Brian. Right. Money's not his problem. He's not trying to. He doesn't need to get leverage from the Patriots. So they're saying we're so desperate we will spend a quarter of our salary cap to put you on the team.
No, but it's leverage, JD, if he wants to stay in New England. You know what I mean? He can get paid and still stay in New England. I put something to the fact that maybe Tom Brady is a sentimental guy that says, you know what? I want to be that guy that was the New England quarterback for my entire career. I don't want to be Joe Montana and go to Kansas City. I don't want to be these star quarterbacks that waste away for 1 or 2 years on some team that I care less about. You know,
I think
and that could be the case.
I think a lot of it has to
the
do
Chargers.
with his kids being closer to grandma and grandpa in California. I think that's a big part of it. I think he's gonna take his horse onto the West Coast and sail off into the West Coast sunset and be a Los Angeles Charger.
Well, you could look at it the other way though too, JD. Right? You could look at it like his kids have been in school in New England for years, right? And you don't want to take them out of that situation.
Well, they're like 10. They're not even. I think they're 10.
Well, Jack's
and 10
older.
and
Jack, I
6
think, what's Jack, 14 or 15?
I don't think
his oldest son's older.
Does he have a kid in high school?
I think he has a kid who's a freshman.
Early middle
he
school.
might be in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Jack, the oldest one he had with Bridget Moynihan, is his oldest son. My point being, though, is that you're talking about moving to go closer to the grandparents.
Right.
You're talking about picking up kids that are in school and moving them to California where they have never lived before and doing that.
Listen,
I mean, I get it.
Listen, I think everything's on the table here. I'm not ruling anything out. All I'm simply saying is I think if you have to put a favorite, I would say that he stays New England. I'm not saying he can't go to L.A., and I'm not saying he can't become a Raider. All I'm saying is I would say that absolutely, if I had to put my money on it, I would say that he remains a Patriot. And then I think the second favorite, I agree, is L.A. And then I think the third favorite, which isn't bad, by the way, for Vegas.
No, of course
if you had to pick a second, third team he would go to, if he doesn't stay in New England, if he doesn't go to L.A., I would say Vegas.
Or it could be the Tennessee Titans if they don't.
No.
If they don't,
I don't think there's any
I was going to
chance.
pose, JD, I was going to pose that question to you. What other outlying
that
teams?
could happen.
What other outlying? Does he go to a Buffalo? Does he go to Detroit?
No, of course
Does
not.
he go?
No,
and
geez,
you
no,
just mentioned Tennessee.
Absolutely not. No,
you just mentioned the Titans.
Yeah, but the Titans just made the playoffs. They had a
How about
pretty,
the Detroit
they had a very good
Lions?
year. Mike Vrabel, his former teammate,
He plays for Matt Patricia.
Would be his head coach as well.
What if he goes to Detroit?
And they trade Stafford to New England.
That would be the biggest upset in history. And keep in mind, the Chargers just sent Phillip Rivers packing.
They did.
They don't have a quarterback.
What are the chances?
There's a spot.
Let me ask you guys
in
this.
LA.
What are the chances that he has some eligibility left and Arroyo tries to recruit him for 1 year to be the UNLV quarterback? Because I know they have a quarterback issue, right? So
I know he'd be happy to come to UNLV because there wouldn't be a quarterback competition like it was back at Michigan where he's competing against Drew Henson and Brian Greasy and all those guys.
Listen, if Randall Cunningham wants Tom Brady there, he should try to recruit him here for the Raiders. I'm talking about. Yeah, try to recruit him. Get Randall Cunningham to come out and say, we want Brady to become a Las Vegas Raider. But he would never do that because that would be disrespectful towards Derek Carr.
Because they're so close and they play the quarterback position so similarly.
Derek Carr is not the guy to get us to the promised land, folks. I'm sorry, he's not.
And I'll agree with that.
Guys, I would love it to see Tom Brady come here to Vegas. Think about
awesome.
the marketing plan. Think about the anticipation of having the greatest quarterback in the history of the league coming here in the first season in Vegas. It'd be great. I'm sorry, it'd be great. Especially that we're here in Vegas, obviously in the market.
I just don't like thinking about Tom Brady in a Raiders jersey. It just bothers me.
Who cares? I mean, it's
really,
Tom Brady.
The optics are everything, Brian.
The man is better.
It really bothers me for some reason.
The man
I don't know
is
what
still.
it is.
I'm sorry, but the man is still a better quarterback.
I just can't make
Wait a
sense
minute,
of
you
it
can't see
in
him
my
in
mind.
JD, you can't see him in a Raiders uniform, but you could see him in an LA Chargers uniform.
Yeah, I
mean, it just seems weird there.
Look, when I superimpose his head on that jersey in my brain, it looks better to me in a Chargers jersey than it does.
You can't deny this.
He's too much of a pretty boy to be the quarterback for the Raiders, in my opinion.
Okay, guys, I don't care what he looks like. I don't care what jersey he's in. You cannot deny.
He is a pretty boy.
Hold on. You cannot deny the fact that right now, at the age of 42, he is still better, in my personal opinion, than at least 70% of starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
I think that's pushing it a little bit.
You do?
I don't necessarily think he's top 10 anymore.
I mean, I would argue that
I don't think he's top 10
I would
anymore.
argue he still has the best pocket presence of any quarterback in the NFL.
He is top 30%.
I would say.
You guys saw he played last year, right?
And I watched. Did you watch that game? That final game against the Titans?
Absolutely, I did.
He threw a couple of balls 62 yards.
still has
But
an
you
arm.
guys saw Tom Brady when he did this regular season with the Patriots.
Wasn't his fault.
But he had nobody to throw
Wasn't
to.
his fault.
No
He didn't have
Gronk.
the receivers.
He had no tight end.
He didn't have the receivers.
Chargers-
And also, their defense wasn't very good this year.
No, the defense was amazing this year. Actually,
Yeah,
no,
it wasn't amazing.
It was not great.
It
against,
wasn't
It was not
amazing.
great against the run, but that pass through the first 10 weeks was crazy. Stephon Gilmore won Defensive Player of the Year for a
If their
reason.
defense was amazing,
But Brady
Tennessee would have
still-
lost that football
Brady
game.
still has a cannon, not against the run, I said, but Brady still has a cannon for an arm, and he's great. His footwork in the
So
pocket
you agree
has
with me?
not dropped off.
He's a top 30% starting quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely.
So if he came to the Raiders, he would
Yes.
make the Raiders a playoff contender, is what you're saying.
But I think he still
I
needs
think
talent.
so.
He
You
still
think?
needs
Yeah.
talent around him offensively that the Raiders don't have right now.
Well, they need more talent. There's no question about it.
The
but,
Chargers have a ready-made team ready to go
No,
and a
right.
great D.
I agree with that. Listen, like I said, I put it at about 5% that he becomes the Raiders starting quarterback next year. I'm going to put it at about 20% that he goes to LA, and I'm going to put it at about 75-80% that he stays in New England. Those are my odds. I'm sticking with my guns. Anyway, it is Monday, and this has been a fun-filled, packed show. Our thanks, by the way, to Nick Bogdanovich, who joined us. Sorry to hear that the books made money, by the way. I never like to hear that. But anyway, C-Win, thank you for joining us, as always. C-Winning Mondays instead of C-Winning Wednesdays. I like that.
Solid.
We will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. We are going to take a 21-hour break. The man, Sean Hannity, as I like to call him, the legend, is coming up next. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on the Vegas Take. This is the all-new 101.5 FM, 7:28 a.m. KDON. Have a great day.
Your home for Sean Hannity.